just a fair warning to all these bigger guys who have punched down on me for years. I know how to bide my time, and I'll be keeping an eye on you. We'll see what happens. Because it's like I said yesterday on the pre-stream, I fully expect that this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to these guys, that they're basically going to be doing things that they're going to get exposed for, and the whole thing's going to blow up all over the internet. And when it does, when these things blow up all over the internet, it's going to bite them in the butt. And, a lot of these guys, sadly, I hate to say it, have insulted me over the years. So don't be surprised if every once in a while, when all of a sudden they get exposed for stuff, that a tweet comes out from me, But that's going to really be the extent of it, I'm not going to be doing any kind of thing in my content or whatever that has anything to do with it. I would much rather just play games and have fun and not make it all about that.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newsroom and welcome to the Galtopia News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. This is the Snort Report. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the Projared situation and DSP's reaction to it. Now, I promised you a two-parter to this, and there's a reason for that. Because I want to focus on the Projared side later, and it's gonna be entertaining. At least I hope it's going to be. But yeah, we're gonna delve more into the Projared aspect of it later on down the line. But this is what was initially promised, so let me go ahead and make good on that. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with one of our favorites, Snort Burnell, DSP Gaming, mocking Projared situation, getting attention, or mocking Projared situation to get attention. I never abused my power as a content creator. Now, obviously, there's a lot of contradiction in all that, kind of, sort of, at least the second part of it. We'll get into that in a minute. As it pertains to Projared, some of you guys may know or may not know him. You may know what he's done, because he's kind of put himself into the DSP lane of infamy, which is rather amusing, to say the very least. Projared was he's basically a game reviewer. He's made his rounds. He had, at the time that he had his debacle, he was at over 1 million subs. He's definitely fallen from grace in that period of time, kind of like James Charles is currently going through. But he was in a very good spot. He had made some good connections. He has some connections with Screw Attack, with JonTron and those guys over there, so on and so forth. He had a whole lot of connection with Ross and his wife. We'll get into that later, maybe. But either which way, he was someone who was successful. He doesn't fit the normal mold of someone who would have some kind of character or could hold your attention outside of it being in a more encyclopedic type environment. And he kind of brings the best of both worlds, where the fact that he has a lot of knowledge, and then he adds, I guess you could say, a little bit of charisma to it, and he uses his nerdiness, if you will, to his full advantage. And it helped that he went ahead and married this hot cosplayer chick, especially if you're into redheads like me. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But he ends up pulling her, which I'm sure surprised a bunch of people. Life was good until he decided to go on Twitter and basically announce his divorce without letting Heidi, who was and kind of still currently is his wife, know about it. That's a big blunder. But then we have another problem, ladies and gentlemen. We have the mistress, who ends up coming in under his tweet and says, "Oh, I'm here to support you." Because Lord knows, if you're going to divorce your wife on Twitter, the woman that's, her replacement should be right under your tweet to say that she's going to be over to suck that dick later. I'm just saying, it makes sense. It does. I kind of see it. Kind of. Not really, but kind of. He has pull like that. There's another problem. Apparently, Heidi, his wife, didn't actually know they were getting a divorce, and they went on this spiel and then he blocks her. Then Projared blocks her after that, and this whole mess comes out. Now, that right there is just a small part, but I'm not done yet. I aim to please, so I'm not done yet. So then people start to approach Holly. Holly's the mistress, Heidi's the wife, and it's like, well, what's going on with that situation? And people bring up these awkward instances with a guy named Ross, who Jared and him, I don't know if I'd really call them friends more than acquaintances, but this guy Ross was married to Holly, and Holly's been cheating with Jared. So basically, Ross got cut, kind of, sort of. You could look at it that way. I guess there was nothing you really do about it. There was something you could do about it, but he didn't. In any case, so people start looking at that situation a little bit closer. JonTron's somewhere in the wings accusing people of being criminals, whatever. But at the same time, he's starting to get a little bit more of his fanfare back because of this whole situation with Projared. This whole thing started to turn into a mess. But it gets worse. And I'm skipping over a lot of stuff because I'll cover more of it later. Then it comes out that our boy Projared, genius level IQ, ladies and gentlemen, from an internet standpoint, apparently is running either he's on a couple of little social sites or whatever, and he's running promotion of positive body viewing, meaning that you should be proud of the skin that you're in. You should be proud of your shape. It is what it is. And ladies, you guys know what the slogan is, or one of the many slogans over here at GTG Network and Productions. We do not discriminate, we only regulate. So I can understand where Projared was coming from with that, except for the fact that Projared started getting a little bit into that underage waters, and that's a no-no. It's a goddamn no-no. Then he started passing out these dick pics, this, that, and the third, and at the same time that all that's happening, and everybody's seeing Projared at the heights, if you will, of his professionalism, you have Holly and Heidi complaining over here on Twitter and in these leaked text messages about how large he is. And shit ain't matching up. But whatever. But then this whole underage thing comes out. Then some of these underage young ladies come out and start showing text messages and emails, and it just turns into a complete and total clusterfuck. I am sorry. It's early. A complete and total clusterfuck. Then things get worse, which is the worst thing that could happen to anybody who put themselves into a situation that didn't need to be placed into. DarkSyde Phil comes out of the wings of wherever the hell he came from to go ahead and throw his 2 cents in. Now, before this broadcast actually came on, you heard the gouty viper. You know what I'm saying? The snorty serpent coiled up and ready for 3 whole years to go ahead and take shots all over the place, spewing his gouty venom, infecting everybody in his wake. And Projared apparently was that guy today. So out of all of the clusterfuck that's going on and everything that comes about, DSP, DarkSyde Phil, DSP Gaming decides to come out and takes a shot at you over 2 tweets. Now, they're 2 tweets talking about a very hot topic that theoretically anybody could get attention on. But Phil gets a whole lot of attention. Somewhere in the count of between 13 and 15,000 likes, a bunch of retweets, and Boogie 101 is one of the guys up there, as if that means anything to anybody. In any case, Phil is riding high. He's feeling real good. Oh, he's feeling real good. He's feeling real good. So now, Phil feels like he has a level of validation. All his tweets are blowing up, and so he's assuming that, hey, I need to ride this train because I'm doing so well. And now I have all this attention on me. Let me flip it into some positive attention. And that's what we're about to get into right now. This is going to be rather amusing, I'm sure. But either which way. And then after this broadcast, I'm going to have 2 clips for you that I want you guys to check out. It'll help bring some of this story together. Remember, there will be a part 2. Also, let me go ahead and try to reassure you that the 7 Years of Slander video is coming, and that's also a two-parter. I'll be hitting the Snort Burnell version first, and then we'll go into a much more expansive version where I'm going to try to actually debunk some of that, and that's really, really difficult. That's taken a while, because that's just sieving through a bunch of shit, and even though there's 5 of us here, you can only deal with so much from a research standpoint over a period of time. So, but I will keep my word to that because I said I would. Now, before we go ahead and move over to what we need to do, ladies and gentlemen, I want to shout out Paul W. Now, you guys know who Paul is. He's the one who puts very inspirational stuff down. He's one of many, actually, who puts very inspirational stuff down in the comment section, and then he translates it. It's fucking sweet. My homie Jay, you know what I'm saying, my battle rap brother, knows all what I'm talking about with that, because he's always shouting them out. Well, Paul has started a very unique series that I'd like for you guys to check out. I will put the link to those in my description, because that's how much I'd like you guys to see it, as I'd like for you guys to see a lot of stuff. It's going to be under Things to Watch. And he has started a brand new series called DarkSyde Phailure. Oh, shit. It's DarkSyde Phailure. The Retro Years. He has 2 videos out. One is about Contra. The second one is about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They're great. That's all I have to say is they're fucking great. I will link them down in my description. I think Kenny's in the office later. So I'll also see if I can try to get an annotation somewhere so you guys can check it out, but they'll definitely be in the description. You know what I'm saying? You know I'm generally good for that. I want you to check. I'd very much appreciate it if you would check that video out, or those videos out. I think you're going to catch a laugh. If you really like what you see over there, sub. He'd very much appreciate it. I would very much appreciate it. And I will remember to shout this out later on in the broadcast. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no need to delay the inevitable. I think the music that I've chosen is rather appropriate, given that, you know, Projared thought he was making a real Game Pro type move by announcing his divorce on Twitter before letting his wife know. That's some big brain thinking right there. So, but let's go ahead and get into the video at hand, ladies and gentlemen. This is DSP News, always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG Networking Productions. For the Snort Report, you guys all know the slogan. And I said that backwards, but whatever. You guys all know the slogan. How should I list Projared though? He's not really bacon. I don't know. Projared right now, ladies and gentlemen, is like, he's like that flavored cream cheese, if any of you guys are into that, because I'm into that. He's like that flavored cream cheese that you had in like you know, like in the refrigerator, and you've bought in other flavors, but you've kind of neglected this one, and you're starting to get down to the very last package, and you realize, you know what, that's been in there so long, that might not be good no more. But the bacon's still sizzling, and you came through in the clutch, and you have another package that you just bought yesterday. So we're just gonna toss that one out. We'll put this one on the table. Bagels, toast, mainly bagels, because you guys are gonna have to assemble your own sausages and sandwiches and so on and so forth. I have it all lined up for you guys. Okay, we're going with it's more like a sandwich breakfast today. Okay, we're on the move, ladies and gentlemen. It's a lot to do. But you guys all know the slogan. I don't smell no bacon cooking yet. Let me get on that, by the way, and that sausage too. It's time, because I'm sure Heidi and Holly would appreciate that. It's time to watch me work. This should be good, hopefully.
That is an epic fucking intro, dude.
And I have to warn everyone, warning, what you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting.
Okay, quick update quick update first off when it comes to the whole breakfast situation. So like I said, there's going to be toast, there's going to be bagels, there's going to be French toast. I've got multiple types of bagels, multiple types of cream cheese. We're going to have eggs, we're going to have cheese, we're going to have sausage, we're going to have turkey, sausage, possibly turkey bacon, but we'll see. That's just a lot of bacon going on right now. It's going to be delicious. I got ham, we got it all. So it's going to be cool. And we're having breakfast potatoes. Not sure if you guys have ever had those, but if you haven't, they're delicious. Anyway, to go along with this delicious meal that I've kind of thrown together, that doesn't mean I don't care. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Snort Burnell, DSP Gaming. Mocking Projared situation to get attention, and I never abused my powers as a content creator. Sure he didn't. Let's go. Here's the one that I thought that was funny. So Jared made an offhanded tweet about him 3 fucking years ago. February 17th of 2016. And Phil held on to that shit for 3 fucking years. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Think about all the people that you've had minor arguments with on Twitter. Or even Facebook or whatever your, whatever is your medium. Even YouTube. And it kind of happens, it boils over, it goes ahead and brings itself down to a simmer, it finishes itself off. What's done is done. Okay? That's what you think. What's done is done. Then come to find out that on the other side of that coin, that person's still stewing about it. And they are slowly but surely waiting year after year after year for you to fuck up so they can go ahead and get clout off that. And their 3 years of vengeance. Imagine that. Waiting 3 years to get revenge on somebody over a tweet. He didn't fuck your wife. He didn't rob your house. He didn't steal your car. He didn't get you. He didn't get you fired from your job because he made an offhanded tweet about you. Wow. Now, as you guys know, all of this nonsense, all this self-flapping, if you will, at Phil's own expense, or at Projared's expense, I should say, ends up leading into the 7 years of slander where Phil thought he had enough clout, enough attention on himself to clear his name. Just to turn around and lie again. What an idiot. Now, here's another thing. Imagine being so hated and being so infamous, being hated in your own mind, but certainly being infamous on the internet, that the moment 10, 20, 30 likes come your way, you automatically think you're the man and you're about to be resurrected. Think about that. Think about how little Phil must think of himself, that it took the fall of somebody else, and then what little bit, if you want to even call internet praise meaningful to you, I guess, and then getting a little bit of internet praise to brighten your day, to brighten your week, to wash away 7 years of bullshit. Are you serious? Amazing. Because I'm still here and you won't be. Good luck living with that. The fuck? Oh my god. And see, this is one of the things that hurts Phil, because all of this attention is a double-edged sword. For all of the benefits that at least Phil would see coming out of this, it's going to make people want to probe into his life a little more then. People are going to be like, well, yeah, he's the guy who flapped off, but what else has he done? Because it's not like you walk into a candy store and get one type of candy. It's not like you go to the produce department and get one type of fruit. You know what I'm saying? You want to see what they have. And this is the stuff that gets Phil in trouble. Hence the reason why it was so short-lived, to be honest. Because it's funny how you got somebody who's a piece of shit calling another dude a piece of shit, and then has the nerve to say, I'm going to outlast all of you anyway. Damn, Phil, you might as well have came out and just told him to kill himself now. Figuratively speaking. Theoretically, I should say.
That's the definition of a drama queen, seriously. Content creators that literally just put filth out there, garbage content, filth, nasty, irresponsible content. We got a drama video maker who all he does is insult people and talk about gossip. We got an idiot gamer who screams at the camera and dresses up like a Muppet and fucking has neon hair. We've got a guy who does prank videos. Human drama never should be fun and exciting.
And quite frankly, typically I usually will remove myself from
Oh boy. Okay. Drama should not be fun or exciting, yet I am exploiting somebody else's drama for my own benefit. Wouldn't that theoretically make him a detractor if you sat around for 3 years waiting to get at somebody? Just because you didn't talk about him every day doesn't mean that you weren't obviously targeting him. I don't know, that kind of opens up a can of worms, because it's kind of like the gay ops without the ops. He was just sitting around for 3 fucking years, mad as shit over this guy for no fucking reason. But in truth, it actually goes a little further than that. Because I think 2 years, if you add 2 more years onto that, so now we're talking like 4, 5, possibly even 6 years. I guess Phil was invited to a convention where Projared and a bunch of these other guys were invited to. And Phil had his little booth or his little table or whatever it was that they could throw together for the pig in short order, and people kind of skipped Phil and went right to Projared. That's where it all really started. The tweet was just the catalyst for Phil to stay up and drink gin till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. To be honest with you, he felt like he was slighted at that convention or whatever it was, where Projared was getting all the attention and apparently underage groupies, while Phil was just kind of left in the dust with his gout. That's essentially where all of this started. That's where the real hatred comes from. And only a few people have kind of mentioned that, but I'd like to throw that out there just for context. Just for context. Here we go.
any kind of human drama regarding other streamers and content creators.
Fuck you. You're a liar.
However, I think we need to, at least today on pre-stream, briefly address what's been going on with content creators in the last year, I'd say, where a lot of people who everyone thought were wholesome, were, you know, upstanding citizens, as you say, upstanding people, and who had giant fan bases are now being kind of revealed to have some pretty nasty, malicious, underhanded stuff going on behind the scenes, and they're being exposed for it. And, you know, as someone who has been around the internet for 11 years doing content creation, and someone who's done it for a living since 2011, and basically for the last 7 years has been the butt of pretty much the running internet joke meme as the worst content creator, and a guy who's a joke, and, you know, it's fun to make fun of Phil, har har har, and sadly, you know, someone who has been very negatively affected by it. For me, at least, to see all this stuff happen the way it's been unfolding, in the last year, I'd say, is kind of just mind-boggling, jaw-dropping, and, quite frankly, ironic, alright? But you know
Wait. What about all the years that people came after your neck and exposed your bullshit and your lies and this, that, and the third? And outside of a few circumstances, There's a reason why that overall some of the big content creators haven't gone after your neck. I don't know if people like PewDiePie and Keemstar feel bad for you or pity you, or just feel that you're just so pathetic that you're not used, that it's not worth going after you unless you do something blatantly stupid. Not do something blatantly egregious like ripping off people on a day-to-day basis. Nah, that's not good enough. But catching you, you know what I'm saying, spanking one off, despite the fact that you probably could have hit the wifey up, sorry, you could have hit the former fiance up before she went to work, is whatever. Maybe they found that a bit more amusing, I suppose. But if people really looked into the silly shit that you've done, and not even silly, but more egregious shit, then this thing wouldn't have been a thing. They would have I feel like they would have ran him out. If not, he would just literally have nothing. And he should be goddamn fortunate that hasn't been the situation. That people, the larger people, I should say, haven't come through and actually looked at Phil. Not even microanalyzed him, just taken a hard look at him. You know what I mean? And actually be like, huh, well, that right there is inconsistent to what he just said yesterday. And what he said yesterday is very inconsistent to what he said last week. And then, and this, that, and the third. And they don't even have to do a lot of the footwork, because there are plenty of people, Snort Burnell, for example, Mr. Huffstuffs, Mighty D, have already connected all the dots for them. It's all there. And then, if they want something a bit more expansive, they can hit, or a bit more exclusive, really. You can hit Twitter or Kiwi Farms. It's all there. It's all there. The trifecta is right there. He's damn lucky that no one's, well, that none of them have done that and actually like said anything about it, I should say. He's very lucky that that hasn't been the case. And I'm sure Tevin said that too. Praise be. But he's very, very lucky that no one has really taken a hard look at him. Because if not, he wouldn't be able to say the shit he's saying now.
Before we even get to that, for those of you who are regular viewers, or maybe if you're a newer viewer who's just swinging by just to check out one of my streams, before you move on to other stuff, because I know a lot of people today may just be checking out a stream or two of mine because of the drama that's been going on the internet, and me voicing it on Twitter and getting over 10,000 likes on a tweet within, a short period of time. What I want to do is go through my streaming schedule for this week, so all of you know exactly what to expect.
Now, something else that should be brought up, because he did do it, is that, because he actually admitted it, idiot, is he actually kept refreshing Twitter to see those numbers go up. So he's basically he's basically masturbating, he's jacking himself off while getting his dopamine fix, while, I guess you could say, getting his weekly bit of exercise. I guess you could call that multitasking, but he's literally mentally jerking himself off and then catching dopamine from all these people who are liking his tweet and basically passing it along. This is what validation is, I guess. You've been on the internet for 11 years and this is what it took you. Like, this is how low you've fallen. Mr. I'm the realest guy on YouTube, think for yourself. I don't have to follow anybody else. I can go my own way, this, that, and the third. Now relying on tens of thousands of people. Sorry, tens of thousands, that's funny. 10,000 people plus to make him feel better about himself, despite the fact that none of them will check out his content. None of them are going to sub to him on YouTube, which would have brought him over the 200, well, would have brought him to 200,000 subs, or if not over, it would have brought him close. None of them did any of that. Very few of them are following him on Twitter and whatnot, and if they did, they were going to end up they're going to basically unfollow him later, which is what happened. It was literally 48 hours of a whole lot of nothing, to be honest, and then it just all fizzled away. And he knows that because he talks about it. But at the same time, you can hear the hope in his voice. Like, you know what? I'm bigger than all of this. But still come and check me out anyway. I'm not that bad of a guy. Because look at Projared. I'm not as bad as him, despite the fact that I have 11 years of my life online. And I have a group of people who have all that shit documented. And it doesn't really look good. He makes Projared shit kind of look like just a Tuesday. Nah, not really. Projared's a fucking nut for but that whole situation's nutty. Dude, literally, what Projared's going through right now is like 3 years of Phil. I'll give him that. It is what it is. So, Phil doesn't have no real ground to stand on, if you think about it. And if he did, it was sand. It was sand. There was nothing solid there. That's the reason why it crumbled as fast as fast as he built it, it crumbled. Because there was nothing there. There was no real foundation. He just took a situation and literally tried to build a house on it, and then it fell apart. And then he walked away from it, like most pharaohs who had failed projects, and just like, oh, I'll start over again later. Hopefully Projared does something else stupid so I can tweet about that, which is literally what Phil tried to do.
Week.
You got people who just cannot stay out of the drama, all right? And this is real talk. There's people who just can't stay out of the fucking drama. Stop being a drama queen.
Now let's very briefly talk about the daily drama. Let's get it out of there, because I know some people are like, man, I come to Phil's streams just to hang out and chill and have gameplay and interaction during the gameplay. I don't want Phil to do a 4-hour pre-stream today where he talks and, you know, doesn't ever get to the game. And the bottom line is I don't want that to happen either. And so what I want to do is kind of address what's going on and then just move on.
So you decided to do a 2-hour stream the next day? Trying to clear the air of drama? What?
Alright. So the bottom line today is, guys, that, you know, over the past 11 years that I've been a content creator, I have struggled, but I've always persevered. And what I mean by that is, you know, I started off at a time on YouTube when there weren't a lot of people doing what I did. Back in 2008, I was doing live impromptu reactionary commentary to raw gameplay footage, which most people didn't do. They were either doing like formal Let's Plays with tons of tutorial stuff.
And I've said that too, that he's not living, he's just existing. But here's the part that gets even crazier if you really think about it. His whole life is only encompassed on YouTube. That's really all it is. Because no matter what he did over those 11 years, no matter where he went, no matter any of that, it was all yet again tied back to YouTube. There was no personal life. And as you guys are hearing now, and you're going to hear in the future, I'm sure, the more and more he talks about John and Howard, I don't think they were ever really friends, more the fact that they were just props. They were just accessories to his content. They were part of the content, not actually his friends. And that right there should be that's a harsh way of looking at a situation. You know what I'm saying? Because it's funny how he's so mad at these guys because he felt like when he left, they discarded him. But in truth, the moment he couldn't make any money off them, he was going to discard them anyway. And then more importantly, with a 3-hour time difference between these guys, he still wanted them to accommodate him and his content, no matter what. That's kind of crazy. That's really fucking crazy. And the only reason why he's mad at them is because they came out public and said all of it. That's really what it comes down to. He's damn near said that. He's damn near said that it was because they came out publicly is why that he was pissed off. Despite the fact that it was because of Phil calling them out and basically calling them cowards is the reason why they ended up firing back at him in the first place. Yet again, he started this. He could have simply made a phone call, not a tweet, not an email, not a fucking text message. He could have simply called one of these guys, if not both, and they could have talked this out like men. Instead, Phil decided to be a fucking snotty-nosed little kid with, nasal drip. And that's how this whole shitstorm started. Kinda, sorta. I don't know. Just my opinion. DsPnews.
Of formal walkthrough, stuff like that. Most people were doing gameplay videos without even any commentary over them. I was one of the originators who kind of popularized the idea that you could play any video game and comment over it. And I became, very popular for it. My original channel, DarkSyde Phil, and then later on, my current channel, DSP Gaming, became virally popular on YouTube.
Speaking of which, the majority of that is lies, by the way. He's not the first person to originate any of that. Just saying. Just putting it out there. And I can't even, and as it pertains to popularizing it, I can't give him that because of the sheer amount of content he was throwing out there. He was basically saturating the market. Yeah, it seemed like he was the only person doing it because he was the only person that was being seen. While some of these guys were kind of just trying to figure out what they were going to do. You throw out a video here, you throw out a video there, you kind of feel what the trickling effect is. He's literally spamming videos out every day. Every day Phil's putting out between 30 and 50 fucking videos. So, of course, he ended up getting popular because it almost looks like he's the only person doing it, despite the fact that he wasn't.
Millions and millions of views over time, and, you know, everything was good. But sadly, over the years, because of mistakes that I made, alright, and I'll openly admit that, it's definitely in part because of mistakes that I made with my attitude, with stupid shit that I just said that was so dumb, okay? And just in general circumstances, you know, I started making videos at a time when making shorter videos made sense, like 10-minute gameplay clips, while moving down, you know, the line on YouTube, it became way more popular and more digestible to make longer gameplay clips with edited stuff in it and thumbnails and the like, which I've never really adapted to. I always said I just want to play games and have fun. I want to be me. So putting out the raw gameplay videos that were shorter made sense to my audience who had been there with me since 2008. But over the years, it just became not fun to do that kind of stuff anymore on YouTube because
But yeah, despite the fact that it was that very audience that was telling him, please go to longer videos because we can't watch all this 10-minute shit, and it would be easier for us, and cut down on how many uploads. So even if he went to the longer videos, he might still, instead of you getting between, like I said, 30 and 50, you might still get 20. You might get 20 45-minute videos. Phil's an asshole. He don't care. He doesn't have any sense of moderation. I'm obviously exaggerating a little bit with the time part of it, but you get what I mean. You get where I'm going with this.
Changed so much that it basically pushed my channel kind of to the bottom of the barrel, alright?
It's my fault. I screwed up. I did. I'm willing to admit when I make a mistake.
Now, there's various
I
things
think that's when he got kicked off of Twitch, or when he got suspended from Twitch the first time. Despite the fact that before he said that, he was bitching and complaining about how it was unfair that they did that to him, and they should have notified him before they just took his stream down. So, just for context.
About I became the butt of internet jokes. That Phil's a dinosaur, Phil's an outdated guy. Look, he played Metal Gear Solid series and he sucked at it and made fun of Kojima. And so I had a rabid fan base of Metal Gear Solid fans who hated me and started this is how you don't play video series. And literally over the years, for one reason or another, I became the butt of everyone's internet joke. Literally, DarkSyde Phil became the guy that you reference when you want to get a cheap pop from your viewers.
Internet jokes. But wait a second, I thought it was, oh, you know, these guys want to come and murder me, and these guys are all sickos, and they all want to hurt me, and they all want to hurt my business. Now all of a sudden they're just jokes. Holy shit, Phil, you're really trying to rewrite your own history. So, but yet again, let's go ahead and put it all together now. We went from Evil AJ puts out one of the greatest pieces of work coming out of Phil's garbage and whatnot. Shouts out to Evil AJ. Phil says that this guy's fucking crazy and he might come to my house or my condo in Connecticut and possibly murder me. And then the whole movement that came from that, and then all these other detractors that came in and voiced their opinion, and how, you know what I'm saying, they're all sickos, they're all brain dead, they don't mean anything, they're all assholes, they're all stupid, they're all idiots, you know, all the little buzzwords and phrases Phil likes to say. And then we move on to, oh, well, these guys are trying to hurt me and my family and this, that, and then third. Then we move on to, oh, well, they're also trying to hurt my business and they're trying to kill my livelihood, so on and so forth. Now we're coming around almost to like a circle, almost like a Gaudy circle, if you will, to it was all just jokes. It was all just, I was the butt of all these internet jokes. So were these people really trying to hurt you, or were they all just jokes that you were blowing out of proportion to get sympathy? Which would make you a liar? Which one is it?
Shit. It didn't matter if you were an up-and-coming guy or gal starting as a streamer or a content creator, or if you were a ginormous person with 1 million subs and super popularity and all of that. No matter who you were, if you mentioned DarkSyde Phil as a joke, you got a pop, right? A cheap pop is what they call it in pro wrestling. You go to someone's hometown and you shout out the hometown to get a big pop from the crowd. So making fun of me was the way to get that cheap, you know, laugh out of the viewership. All right.
Come into my streams, hang out, have fun, be chill, and relax, right? And have a few laughs at my expense if, you know, something goes wrong.
And, you know, I had to live with that. I absolutely had to live with that. And over the years, I saw my business decline and decline and decline because of it.
So you were okay being used as a cheap prompt. In the same way, one could make the argument that you used your own friends for, and your former fiance, and all your other bosom buddies, alive and dead. But you were okay with that because you had done your dirt too, right? So, you know, we're just spreading it around. Even though there was even less value than using DarkSyde Phil for, as he says, a cheap pop. That shows how much he values himself over you exploiting your friends and family for that fleeting bit of riches, if you want to even call it that, that you had. I like to think of it as advantages that you squandered because you're a fucking idiot. That's really, that's what you had to live with for years. And lie over and over and over again about situations which you're doing up to this very day. Right? And how you turn people who were in your fan base, people who were in your corner, who had your back, against you over the years. Over dumb shit. Over PCs that you allegedly knew how to build, but you didn't know how to build them, and you didn't understand any of the components and how any of it worked. Whatever. To the people who you basically shitted up and had kicked off of your website, the very website that they built for you. You didn't do it yourself. Right? And then all the different people who handheld you or tried, excuse me, in a very vain attempt, or attempts, to be honest, but tried to front line for you against all these trolls, haters, and detractors, and you ended up cutting all of them by the knees, if not worse, later on down the line. I'm just saying, it doesn't seem like anything good comes out of helping DarkSyde Phil. It doesn't. It really don't. It feels like you're going to be at your own personal detriment by doing it. It seems to be a waste. Just saying. DSP News.
Nothing I could really do about it. There was no recourse I had as people stole my content on YouTube and made negative videos about me constantly. The sad part is that it got worse and worse. You know, it's all jokes are fine. This is how you don't play. Okay, fine. Make fun of my gameplay. But then over the years, people started saying really nasty, slanderous things about me.
Wait. All right, I'm not going to beat a dead horse. No pun intended. But at first, it was jokes at my expense, despite the fact that you had the original taken down, and you were talking all this bullshit about copyright and this, that, and the third, and how they were infringing on it. But now it's all good. Now it's all gravy. Now it's all good. But then the hate movement that ended up coming from that, and then spawned off from other shit. Now all of a sudden, that's really starting to become a problem. Despite the fact that you could have, all of this could have been taken care of before it ever even started. But see, Phil thought he was so big and he had so much influence that he was just going to squash people instead of trying to talk to them. Which is the reason why it's the reason why he's where he's at now. It's the reason why the guy doesn't have a friend in the world. He really don't. Most of the people, I won't say all of them, but I would say most of the people that genuinely want to see Phil do well, or so on and so forth, are doing it for one of two reasons. One, because they feel pity for him, or two, they're trying to prove a point. That, you know what, Phil really isn't as bad as you say he is. And there's people worse than Phil. But please believe that Phil is as bad as people say he is. He may actually even be worse. And it's because of that doubt is the reason why Phil's been able to limp and crawl from hoof to hoof all these years. Because people are willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. And what has that done? All you've done is enabled him to become worse. Now, I'm not advocating, nor am I saying that let his business crumble, or, you know, personally take an active approach, an active hand, if you will, in taking down his business or fucking with his life in the real or any of that bullshit. At the end of the day, he's going to screw himself over. But he can't get mad if people call him out on his bullshit. He can't get mad at that. Especially when he's the one who put the information out there. You can't really get mad at that either. You did it yourself. Because that video, what you were making money off of. So the dollars went ahead and trumped all the cents. In turn, when all those dollars ended up fading, and when you're throwing pennies into the fountain, praying to the YouTube gods, or Susan, I think, yeah, I guess it's probably fair to say it's Susan, to give you another chance, and nothing happens, and now everything's in a decline, all those people are gone, and you're literally the laughingstock of the internet, not just YouTube, not just Twitch, not just Twitter. You're pretty much the laughingstock of the internet. It comes back down to, was it all worth it? And that's a question that Phil can't answer you. And if he does, he can only do it halfway.
Like, oh,
you know, Phil's a pedophile, Phil's a scammer and a thief, and Phil's lazy, and
Phil's this and Phil's that. And basically, it was all bullshit. It was all made up. It was just trying to take, like, a moment from a stream or a moment from a video and take it out of context or twist something to be something that it definitely wasn't and make it out like I'm some kind of an internet villain. And then it became a meme to do that.
you think I'm the villain? Go fuck yourself.
So that's the problem here, is that it's one thing to make fun of someone. It's another thing to basically make them a butt of your joke to the point where you just literally make shit up about them constantly, and it hurts them concretely. And it has, you know. I've been doing this for 11 years, and, you know, these days, things are not great for me behind the scenes financially at all. I mean,
but that's, yet again, that's your own fault, though. Like, let's go ahead and move from the whole Detractor shit for a minute, if you don't mind. Let's go ahead and look at some of the opportunities that Phil had, but didn't take advantage of. One was collaborating with other people. Not people that he knows. Not what Phil in his own head would consider nobodies and whatnot. I'm talking about with people who were well established on the platform that he could have reached out to and done something with. And he didn't, because when he got with Machinima, he felt like, oh, well, Machinima will make that happen. No, they don't have to do any of that. They don't have to sit there and put two people in a room and be like, get along and make a hit. It doesn't necessarily work that way. You have to reach out to people. And in some of those earlier years, as I'm finding out with some of the extra shit that I'm doing, he may have actually had some opportunities, but he didn't go for them. He wanted to stick to this whole bullshit about being the realest dude on YouTube, and I'm just like you guys. I don't think I should be paid to do what I'm doing. I just go to the store at midnight like the rest of you. I come home, I play through the game, and I put as much of it online as I can. He didn't want the collaborations. He didn't want all the perks that come from doing business. He didn't want to, in air quotes, sell out. He didn't want any of those things. The opportunities, could have been there. He may have had to put some effort in, like, oh, I don't know, send an email. Oh, I don't know, send a personal message on YouTube, because you could do that back then, to some of these bigger content creators and be like, hey, I was wondering if I could pick your brain about something for a minute. He could have done that. When he eventually ended up getting on Twitter, I don't even know when that is, so excuse me on that. He could have reached out to some of them and made some, you know, see if he could build some connections. He didn't want to. He wanted his own little piece of the internet, right? And he didn't want to share it with anybody, because it was the first time in his fucking life that people acknowledged him for something. It was the first time that people looked at Phil Burnell and thought, you know what, he's actually worth a damn. It was the first time that Phil looked into the mirror and he was actually proud to see the Polishman that was looking back at him. Oh, I'm sorry. Phil doesn't like to acknowledge that he's Polish. He's Italian. He's Italian. No, he's not Italian, he's Polish, but you know what I mean. And that's why he wouldn't collaborate with people. That's why he felt fine with taking other people's money, meaning people in the fan base, than getting this corporate money. Sits there and lies all day. Oh, I never made a dime before 2010, 2011, despite the fact that he had a donation button and he had ways of you guys giving him money from almost Jump Street. Almost Jump Street. From the beginning, almost, there was ways of you helping Phil out from a financial standpoint. And he made sure to tell people that. Almost from the beginning. But then he goes ahead and spins a story about, oh, I never made a dime the first 3 years on YouTube. What he's trying to tell you is, oh, I never actually got paid by YouTube. But that doesn't mean he didn't get paid through YouTube. Because if it wasn't for YouTube, the people who were watching him, the people who were sucking him off, the people who thought he was worth a damn, wouldn't have never even known of him. Just some pudgy dude running around Connecticut with a bad back. And the groundwork of hereditary gout. No one would have known shit of who he was if it wasn't for YouTube. But he never got paid. He never made a dime in his first 3 years, though, right? Right? Right.
Financial decisions trying to keep stuff going over times when YouTube revenue was plummeting and people were destroying my YouTube channel, DSP Gaming, which they single-handedly did with false copyright strikes and all kinds of shit over the years. You know, I've been swatted and everything. And the bottom line is I'm not here to go over the past, but just to give you guys...
I'm not here to go over the past, despite the fact that I'm currently going over the past. Makes sense. Gotcha.
Some background of the shit that I've been through over the years as a content creator. Okay?
Isn't your background your past? I'm just drawing at straws at this point.
And I have strived and struggled tooth and nail to keep stuff going.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm feeling a bit generous, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw in a couple of pig in the blankets too. So I hope you guys like that. We need some pancakes around here to absorb some of this salt.
Bad as it is now for me behind the scenes, you know, financially, all right? As bad as it is, sadly, I hate to say it, you know, I still persevere through it. What's happened is in the last year, we've seen a large number, not just like, oh, 2 people. We're talking dozens of well-known internet content creators and or, you know, even collaborations that have basically been revealed to have been not what you guys thought they were.
A lot of the times they were toxic relationships or things going on behind the scenes you never knew about. That douche kid. Cheers is a cat. Okay. She's actually getting much better. Finally her cough is starting to subside. She's still coughing, but it's finally starting to subside. She's been sleeping downstairs recently because she's been choking so much that it's been keeping me up. So she's actually been sleeping downstairs.
Now, yet again, I've pointed this out before. This chick is sick, right? Coughing's really bad, this, that, and the third. You, DarkSyde Phil, yet again, thinking that he's the bigger and better person, right? You would make, at this time, his fiance, because he didn't actually announce that situation, you would make your fiance go downstairs and sleep on the couch instead of giving her the bed and you going downstairs and sleeping on the couch. Which you were probably lucky enough to pry yourself off of half drunk anyway a couple hours beforehand. But you would make her go downstairs and sleep on the couch so you can have the bed, so you can have the sleep that you need for work. When in actuality, she should have had the bed. Are you fucking serious? But then the crazy part of that, right, is he really doesn't see anything wrong with that. He really doesn't see anything wrong with making this chick go downstairs and sleep downstairs because her coughing's keeping me up. Maybe, just maybe, he can go and get that bitch some cough medicine. She's not a bitch. But maybe he can go and get her some cough medicine. Maybe he can make her some tea. Maybe he could be like, you know what, the bed's yours. You know what I'm saying? Here, I'll make you a little bit more comfortable, and I'll come and check on you periodically. Yeah, I gotta work tomorrow, but you're my fiance, and you know what I'm saying? You're my soulmate, and you're important. If I show up a little late to the stream, no big deal. He's popped up to the stream, hungover, or even called off streams because he was hungover. But Cat's coughing is what's keeping him. He can't allow Cat's coughing to keep him away from his work. Really? Alright.
Recently, and so it's good because I can actually get my sleep. Phil and his girlfriend aren't doing well because she sleeps in it downstairs. She's sleeping upstairs. Abuse. You know.
Wait a second, now think about it. He wouldn't even have to sleep downstairs if he didn't want to. He could sleep in that dust bowl of an office. He could have just gone and slept there. Whatever.
Scamming. All kinds of shit that happens that you guys just don't know because all you see is that facade that content creators put out to the internet, right?
But what we're finding now in this modern day and age is that you can't get away with anything. Okay, you can't. When you are a content creator on the internet, your life is public. It doesn't matter how much you try to hide or keep behind the scenes. If you do something wrong, you're gonna get caught and you're gonna get called out for it. It's just going to happen. Okay?
I learned the hard way, okay?
So the truth of the matter here is, for me, I've made many mistakes over the years, and people have called me out for them fairly, and then sadly, a lot of people always make shit up and call me out for stuff that's completely unfair and not true. And I've been destroyed for it in a lot of ways. You remember 3 years
So wait a second. So shitting on his gameplay is fair. Calling out the fucked up shit that he said is unfair. Okay.
A little over 3 years ago at this point, I had an unfortunate incident on stream where the webcam was left on inadvertently. And even though, thank goodness, I don't have any kind of a setup where you can see much but my face, and the mic was muted, it was insanely embarrassing. And this became a huge internet meme across the entire internet. I became the laughingstock of the internet, as if I wasn't bad enough that I wasn't, you know, a laughingstock. I definitely became a laughingstock at that point. Alright? And if people had not made fun of me up to then, I mean, now it was like, this is it. This is the guy you make fun of. This is the guy who did one of the most embarrassing things ever on the internet, and he'll never live it down. He's gonna definitely fall into oblivion now. We'll never see him again. And that was it, and people kind of wrote me off. But instead of taking it as that, I spun it into a joke, into a positive, and said, yeah, it happened, and there's no way I can deny it, and it's something that is really fucking stupid, and obviously I'll never make that mistake again, but I laugh with it, and I will laugh with all of you as you make fun of me, because admittedly, it's pretty fucking funny that it happened, and the way that it happened, alright?
In mid-2016, I accidentally streamed myself masturbating. Wait a minute. Aren't you the guy that masturbated in front of children? I'm the guy watching his Twitch. It's the guy. I'm watching his stream.
And because of that, because I approached it like that.
That's not necessarily true. What he did is he tried to benefit off of it after he had Machinima try to take some of those videos down. Just saying. So it wasn't like he was just open-armed to it. It wasn't like he was extending a helping hand to that joke and just kind of laughing it up with everybody else. And hasn't he banned people from his chat for that before? Just saying.
Actually, in reality, was not that much of a negative in the short term. It ended up becoming like almost a boost for me, which was inadvertent. It obviously was an accident. It's not anything I would have planned. But it was pretty...
Keyword is short term.
Wild the way that it kind of actually gave me kind of a boost of popularity 3 years ago. All right, but that boost of popularity did not last. It was very short-lived. Maybe for about 3-4 months, I got some hype behind my streams. People wanted to come by. Oh, is that the guy that did that? Let's see if he's any good. And then in reality, a lot of people said, wow, we like his streams. We'll hang around. We'll be supportive, right? Sadly, since then, things have still gone south. You know, YouTube's bottom line has fallen out. You cannot make a living being a YouTuber anymore. Unless
That's
you
a
have
lie. That's a major lie. So I was talking to James Lesser about this a little while ago. So there's a bunch of different communities out there. This is all obvious. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you right now, there is money out there. There's real money to be made out there. There's silly, silly, silly money to be made out there. It's ridiculous what kind of bread you can get. Let me give you an example, as best as I can remember, that I gave to James Lesser. Shouts out to James Lesser and Agent Proper. The thing is with Phil, and I say this with all sincerity, Phil is at the very bottom of the fucking barrel. Matter of fact, he's below the barrel. He's in the dirt, in the mud, with all the worms and everything else when it comes to gaming. Even at Phil's better times, he still wasn't in any type of real high position, believe it or not. YouTube gaming, just the gaming aspect of it, is expansive. There are YouTube channels that I stumble upon or that are recommended to me that I've never heard of before, that have like 3 or 4 million subs and whatnot, who are cool with some of the other content creators on Twitter, but I've never heard of any of them. None of them have been recommended to me or any of that. If you want to go ahead and leave the gaming aspect of it and just get into some other shit, where they're like the arts and crafts community, there's many of those, the comic book community, there's many of those, sports and whatnot, people who go over boxing, mixed martial arts, so on and so forth. There are people out there that are making crazy money. And the reason why is because they put effort into what they do. And they appreciate their audience. Phil has never been one to do that. He's exploited his audience, like I said, from day one, and he produced the laziest type of content. The reason why Phil fell is because, one, he didn't do anything to really cement himself besides being a negative asshole. Two, when it was time to move over, when it was time to transition and do what he needed to do from a visual standpoint, from an audio standpoint, and you know me, we're shit with audio over here, but to do stuff with his visuals and this, that, and the third to bring a much better and cleaner product, he didn't want to do it because that was inconvenient to him. So it wasn't like anybody fucked him over. He let himself fall behind, and he's still trying to catch up. Even when you look at his Twitch layout, it's outdated. It is fucking outdated. As outdated as some of those kitchens that him and Panda were looking at when they went house hunting in Seattle. It's outdated by like 3 or 4 fucking years. I'm sorry, but that's what that is. He's behind. He's always been. Mr. You shouldn't live into the past. I'm all about looking forward instead of looking back. All he does is reminisce how Twitch used to be, how YouTube used to be with the layouts and everything like that, and this, that, and the third. That's all he does is reminisce about the money that he made and all the trips that he went on and all the food he used to eat. That's all he does. That's all he does. And when he reminisces about how successful, air quotes, that he was on YouTube, it wasn't going to last because it wasn't built to. There are people out here that are making crazy money in the gaming, gaming category or genre, or however you want to word it. They're making really good money. He wants to paint this thing to you that, oh, there's no money out here, everything's all dried up, YouTube's done. And yet there are people on YouTube who are not on Twitch, who stream through YouTube almost exclusively, if they even stream, who getting all the sponsorships, doing the collaborations, have all the content, have all the contacts with companies and such that are being flied out to test games, this, that, and the third, and it's all off YouTube, and none of them have even a 1/10 of the videos that Phil has. So how are they able to do it and Phil wasn't? How is it that Mr. Phil, DSP, DarkSyde Phil, who's been around, DSP Gaming, has been around for 11 fucking years and hasn't figured out how to conduct business on a platform that he started on, that he has fought a couple of times to stay on? Because, as I found in my recent investigations, he lost DarkSyde Phil the channel once. He got kicked off a blip, as you know. He's had some real close calls with different platforms over the years. Quite a few, actually. More than a person should. And for whatever reason, he's got the devil's luck and he just keeps coming back. It's insane. So maybe, just maybe, if you see yourself fucking up in all these categories, in all these situations, maybe you'd want to change. Maybe this whole being the realest person on YouTube, which you weren't anyway, you were fake from the beginning, with that whole Howard Stern thing and all that bullshit. You were fake from the beginning. You never really knew who you were. That's why he still don't. That's the reason why he takes little bits of everybody and tries to incorporate it into himself. That's why his laughs are inconsistent. The one laugh that he has is original, that ack, he's ashamed of it. He's ashamed of it. And I don't even think it's because people make fun of it. I'm lying. Half of it's because people make fun of it. But also, it's him. It's him in his most purest sense. And when you think of pure, you think clean. Phil certainly ain't clean, but you know what I mean. It's him in his most purest sense, and he hates it. That's why he has the goat laugh. He has the snake laugh. He has the little laugh. And none of those laughs are his. They belong to somebody else that he just basically incorporated into himself. And so when you think about DSP Cult Leader, for example, just the name itself, it kind of makes sense because all Phil does is collect people and take the aspects that he likes about them and incorporates it into himself, into his religion, which is the pig roach, the pig roach religion, the religion of gout. That's all he does, is he takes little bits of other people and incorporates it into himself, and then passes it off to the kiddies and say, this is what you're believing in, so you have to, and by proxy, you have to believe in me. I know this sounds, it sounds roundabout, but, if you think about it, don't think about it too hard, but if you think about it a little bit, it kind of makes a little bit of sense. But that's what he is. That is him in its foundation. The guy doesn't even know who the fuck he is. Why do you think he keeps making the mistakes that he keeps doing? Why do you think he keeps making the mistakes over and over and over again? Why do you think he keeps making new mistakes almost as soon as he was lucky enough to get away from the last one? He just don't know no better. He literally is a child stuck in an old man's body. And he just hasn't figured it out. And he's just been fortunate enough to keep getting away with it. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And there's obviously a level of self-awareness in that. Obviously. But no one's ever going to try to peg him as some amazing super genius unless he has split personality syndrome. And he doesn't have that. At least not that we know of. He doesn't have it. But outside of that, he's lucky. He's just really, really fucking lucky. But here's the problem now, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I'm getting long-winded with this. Now, the luck is starting to run out. Because now, he doesn't have any opportunities anymore. All that shit is gone. No one really wants to touch Phil unless they just want a bunch of eyes on their product. But that doesn't mean you have to bring him into the company. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is give him a free game and let him promote that shit for free. And maybe that might be the best he can get at this point. No one will ever trust him enough to bring him in because he's too damn greedy and he's too damn stupid. You just can't trust it. And he doesn't have any contacts. He doesn't have any people to vouch for him. The only person, the last person with real credibility that could have vouched for him, and I apologize for not doing that broadcast yet, was the drunken peasants. When they tried to bring him onto that show under the pretense that they wanted to show that he wasn't a fucking lol cow and he had some redeemable qualities. God bless them for that. God bless them for that. But it was going to fail anyway. It was going to fail anyway. Because it's not in Phil's nature. It's just not. He just doesn't have it. He's not wired like that. He can't even fake it. DSP News.
Ridiculous amount of views and subs. It's just not possible. And I was one of those people who, up to this point of early 2017, I was making a living solely on the ad revenue from YouTube. And when YouTube's ad apocalypse began, that was it for me. So what I've done in the last...
That's not true. That's not true. Sorry, let me clear that up really fast. Ad apocalypse came through, shit got crazy. It would have required Phil to, guess what? To adjust and adapt. Which means just go over to Twitch. All of your content is still protected under your managed partnership on YouTube. Just go to Twitch. His dumbass was so scared and so stupid and so lazy that he decided to go ahead and try to bully Machinima, thinking that they would never get rid of him. Ladies and gentlemen, we're all expendable. In some way, shape, or form, we're all expendable, especially from a business standpoint. It's just, it is what it is. Business is dirty. It's grimy. It's just the nature of it. The moment you start to believe that you're untouchable or that you're safe is the moment you stop growing as a person, as an individual, as whatever your position is. And that type of arrogance or that type of attitude even, it projects. People can feel that and people can read that. And that type of arrogance will come through in your work. I promise you. It will come through in your work and people will pick that shit up. And those are the same people that will end up getting you up and out of there. Not because it's really anything personal, because you should have a level of confidence and pride in what you do. But when that shit starts to turn into arrogance to where you think you're starting to get too good for this and you deserve a lot more, but yet you're not willing to put in the effort to get that, that's when people start to get cut. And that's exactly what happened to Phil. He started to believe he was bigger than what he was. He started to let these kids basically get in his head about he was greater than he really was because Phil wanted to believe it. He wanted to believe it wholeheartedly with his piggy little heart that he was as good as people said he was. He was as entertaining. He was as funny. He was whatever. And to the people that I've had the fortune of talking to, they've all almost universally have admitted that for the first year or two he was funny, but they were all kids themselves. So of course they all thought he was funny as shit, but even after a while they got bored with it. Or it just got old. Or common sense kicked in and they started to realize, you know what, you shouldn't be saying stuff like that, Phil. And then what? And then what? You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, that whole shit with Ad Apocalypse, that was all on him. All he had to do was make the transition. Eventually he was going to get dropped from Machinima. Let's not lie about that. But they'll bleed him, right? Because obviously this is something that no one's ever dealt with. So they're going to continue to bleed him out and protect his bullshit. All he had to do was go to Twitch. He literally could have been doing the same thing he was doing now, but yet all of his content could have been protected. All of those Disney videos that came out, or video games that came out, he could have exploited all that shit and Machinima would have had his back. Think about all those playthroughs that got screwed over. Think about all those playthroughs that he himself went in and tried to use the YouTube editing tool and fucked up. Imagine all of the mistakes that he made, right, could have been avoided if, when he contacted Machinima the first time, we don't know what's going on, we'll figure it out, do what you can for right now. And then him just going to Machinima, going to Twitch and being like, hey, let me get my account reactivated, because he was already a partner when he left in the first place. So all they do is reactivate his account, and then I'm sure a little bit of time has to go through. Bam, he's up and running. and then just jump back on there. But see, Phil didn't want to do that. He didn't want to put that type of work in. He didn't want to put that type of effort in, and he was scared. He was scared of having to put that much work in and that much effort. He knew at that point he was making easy fucking money, and he didn't want to have to put an iota of extra effort into what he was already doing. And that ended up being his downfall. You can say that Adpocalypse was the catalyst, but in truth, Phil staked himself. Quite literally. He staked himself. DSP News.
Years as I've changed up my formula completely and become a full-time live streamer with pure, full-time interactivity where I'm talking with all of you. I'm giving you shout-outs for your contributions. It's a very different kind of thing of content creating that I do now than I ever did, way back then for those 7+ years that I was doing it, all right? And so even though we had this really embarrassing thing happen in 2016, even though YouTube's bottom line fell out, I still was able to keep things going. And to this day, I'm still
Let's cut in again. First things first, this new thing that he's doing now and whatever, he could have done it back then. He's an idiot. He deserved what he got. As it pertains to this whole, doing everything he could to keep the business afloat, no one told your dumb ass to go and take business loans out on a fucking YouTube channel. I want you to think about that for a minute. No one told you, Phil, to go to the bank and take out multiple business loans for a fucking YouTube channel. I want that to sink in to all of you in the audience for a minute. This idiot took out a business loan, took out multiple business loans. He took out at least 2, and Panda must have taken out at least 1 to keep DSP Gaming afloat, to keep a YouTube channel afloat. That's insane. That is fucking insane that you would need to do something silly like that. To do something silly like that. And he has the nerve to sit here and say, I've been fighting this, that, and the third. No, you were in a decline. You were in a decline before the the fan art copyright strike shit came through. That's what it comes down to. You were in a decline before that, and you weren't man enough to accept it. He could have gone back to Twitch earlier than Adpocalypse and made something happen. But he was too lazy and too stupid. And I guess around that time period, he didn't know that the money was starting to creep up over there on Twitch, and he's still butthurt over some bitrate shit, which is what caused him to leave Twitch in the first place. He didn't know where the money was going, or he didn't know how the money was starting to get structured on Twitch, and that's why he didn't go. He didn't go to Twitch until he had to. And that's after he got kicked off from Machinima, and he comes in with that dirty white tee crying about, I need you guys to get me an MCN. I need you guys to, if you guys know any contacts or anything, man, you guys need to email it to me at DarkSydePhil@hotmail.com, because I only have a couple more days left, man. And then DSP Game is not going to make any money, and I need this, despite the fact that the idiot sat on that for like 30 days, at the very least, he sat on that for 30 days. You want to know why he sat on it so goddamn long? Because he's behind the scenes begging and pleading on his hooves to fucking Machinima to take his ass back, and that he's so damn sorry, and he was just panicked, and this, that, and the third. Despite the fact that this idiot damn near made it all the way to the CEO almost. He almost made it to having an email or a voicemail or something end up on Machinima's CEO's desk. And they clipped his ass right before that happened. But he was close. So just imagine he would take that much time and put that much effort into talking to the president or the CEO or whoever to be like, I'm DarkSyde Phil and you need to protect me, but yet he wouldn't put that same type of energy. He didn't put that same type of energy into his goddamn content. So it's funny how he talked tough and he's the realest guy on YouTube, but where's that energy at when it comes down to his content? I could turn on a light side Bill channel on right now, shouts out to LSB, and he's yawning on that bitch. Where's all that energy at then? Just saying.
To keep things afloat, even though things are very tight and challenging for me. I still have a dedicated fan base, and I still put out streams every single day when I can. Once a week, I get a day off to spend with my wife. That's it. Every other day, I'm here all day long.
I may be living month to month, paycheck to paycheck, begging for fucking tips and shit on stream for the rest of my life. And I love it. I love doing this for a living.
And, it is what it is. That's my life right now, okay? So in reality, this last year has been very eye-opening, I think, for a lot of people. I think what they're finally starting to realize is that these people who are content creators who everyone says are so good and, oh, they're wholesome people. I call this the Cosby effect, ladies and gentlemen. The Bill Cosby effect, where there's someone who was in our lives as some kind of a public figure who we believed was some kind of a paragon of excellence, a paragon of morality. And then in reality, when we get the truth of the matter coming out, these people were actually vile degenerates. All right? And
okay, so you want to pull Bill Cosby because Phil's good at whatever. Phil's good at picking them those darker colored people to use as examples. Fair enough. Let's go ahead and play some games with you then, Phil. What about that executive producer on Nickelodeon that had that foot fetish and liked having young girls, definitely underage, at these pool parties and shit for all of his older friends to be entertained by? How about that? Harvey Weinstein pops up too. Actually, matter of fact, Harvey, to his credit, he's got some goddamn good lawyers. He only has to pay out, I don't know, about $40 million. $40 million to get out from under what he was under. And that was all that alleged sexual inappropriacy, as well as sexual assault, allegedly, or attempted sexual assault, and all that nonsense. And over the span of years for multiple women. And $40 million is enough to shut all that shit down. I mean, that sounds like a bunch of women that are just selling themselves cheap, but, whatever. It is what it is, I suppose. But, do what you got to do. You want me to go on and on with that? I'm just saying, there are other examples who are relevant that you could have gone after. You could have even mixed all that up and throw a Jello pudding pop in there with that. I'd have been cool with it. But Phil doesn't like doing that. He likes to focus on just these people over here, because those people over there, they're good examples. And then Phil gets mad that when some internet drama shit pop up, his name generally comes up first, when he does the exact same damn thing, whether it's warranted or not. Just throwing that out there. If he wants to go ahead and kick a man's Jello pudding pop box over, that's on him. I was never really a fan of that anyway. Never really a fan of Jello pudding pops anyway. But whatever. If he wants to pull that, you pull that. But that doesn't even help your cause either. That goes back to that OJ dumb shit that he pulled just prior to this. He's not very smart. Or no, actually, I think he did the OJ stuff after that. Yeah, he did the OJ stuff after this. He's just not very good at examples. Neither am I, but still, I can say that.
Lots of examples. I could sit here and cite a ton. I'm really not going to, because I don't want to be crazy. Because
yet again, the Jello pudding pop kind of seals the deal, right? Most of these people don't even know who Bill Cosby is, probably. But good job, Phil.
All right, I don't want to start calling out a million names, but I do want to talk about the one situation in particular that's happening right now, unfolding live on the internet for the last 24 hours. I wasn't even aware of it. I was on my day off yesterday, okay? My day off from streaming at all. I'm usually disconnected from the internet, but it just so happens that during the day I had a few
minutes. You a goddamn lie. You tweet. You're pretty reckless with the tweets on your days off. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm not saying he spends all day tweeting, even though some days more than others. But talking about I disconnect from the internet. Get the fuck out of here. That's the best day for you to watch Detractor content. We all know it.
I open up my Twitter my Twitter feed. I'm like, holy Testicle Tuesday! What the fuck is this?
Wait a second. Why are you opening up your fucking Twitter profile if you're supposed to be disconnected from the internet that day? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Sounds to me like a neglected wife in the that's happening over there, or a neglected wife situation, I should say, that's happening over there right now. It's not a very good idea, Phil. Just saying. Supposed to be the one day off a week so you can run errands and spend time with your lovely wife. Seems to me like you're on Instagram a whole lot more, or sorry, you're on Twitter a whole lot more than that. Just like how you're supposed to be on your honeymoon and you sitting there editing fucking comments on Instagram. Just saying. Just saying.
I never expected to see anything like this. And I'm not going to go into massive detail about it. Alright, I'm just not. If you want to know the full story, I urge for you to just go on Twitter or go on social media yourself. There's a million threads and videos already about it. People jumping on the bandwagon to make a buck off of this situation, which always happens.
That's like me, right? That's like me.
I was on my day off. I was like, I'm not going to bother with this crap. But basically, knowing that I'm always the butt of jokes and I'm the guy who never got away with anything because, look what happened in 2016, right? I made a post on Twitter.
Wait, this is my day off. I'm not going to fucking deal with this shit, this, that, and the third. Basically trying to say, I'm above all this. Then, in the next fucking sentence, he has the nerve to say, oh, but since I always get shitted on this, that, and the third, why should I give Jared a pass? DSP News.
I said, you know, it's now coming to light that these certain people who everyone thought was kind of wholesome aren't. And being the guy who never was able to get away with anything.
What I've learned over the past 11 years is that you can't. When you do something wrong as a content creator, your life is public and people are going to find out and call you out for it. You're not going to be able to hide it or get away with it. Oh, Phil's a scammer and Phil took the money that he said was for taxes and he did it to pay for a wedding. Wow, Phil's a scammer. He's a piece of underhanded shit. He's been lying to his viewers and fans for so long. And basically saying that, you know, he was raising money for taxes, but all that money obviously went to pay for this wedding that he didn't tell us about, and he scammed us, and no one would have ever contributed if he had said it was for a wedding instead of something important like taxes, and this is fucked up, and he's really screwed the pooch, and it's a shame that
the thing is, though, is how are you going to say that people, if you do something wrong, people are going to look it up and find out when it's all on your YouTube channel? You can't hide it, but you didn't private any of those videos. You didn't delete any of those videos. They're all still there and they're readily available. All on your channel. So what was it that you tried to hide? What was it that people really had to dig up? It was all right there. You're the one who put your life out there like that. So if you contradict yourself at a later time and date, most people are going to pick up on that. I understand that those people that are over there now, which you are considered nothing more than fucking sheep, ready to go to the slaughter and shit, so you wouldn't expect them to have a very long memory about anything anyway, and the ones who do get silenced quick. Nice Silence of the reference, Silence of the Lambs reference, for anybody who caught that. But, so I get all of that. I do. I really fucking do. But the problem is you yourself put all of this out. All on your own. All for profit. And yet you're mad that people have something to say about it, that people can critique it. If it hurts you so much, take the video down. You're not going to do that. So it's not like anybody had to go on some amazing treasure hunt to find this shit. You put it out there on your own. And it's something that the people who usually defend you, Phil, are starting to come to the realization. It's not like people are sitting here fucking literally mining for gold, even though a lot of his videos have gold mines if you're willing to spend 2 hours to go through it. Mining for gold, going super deep and shit, interviewing motherfuckers in Connecticut to get the real story. No one's gone there with it. And the reason why is because you already provided all there. What sounds like bullshit can be corroborated by something else. Outside of that, it's all right there. It just needs to be carved up. Why do you think we make all of our bacon fresh and in-house? Just saying.
People now who are failing because of cheating on their significant others or scamming people behind the scenes. And that's what they're failing for, even though they had ginormous successful fan bases and viewerships, instead of on the quality of their content. Imagine actually putting out content that everyone loves, but because you're a scumbag behind the scenes, you fail and everything falls apart. And sadly, that's what's been happening with a lot of content creators these past few years.
Well, I guess they could have been like you and just been a scumbag in public. And then get mad that people think you're a scumbag in public. I guess they could have done that. They could have gone the Phil Burnell way.
Okay.
As story after story after story starts coming out about it, alright? So I made this one post. And, you know, it got some traction. The thing is, my Twitter almost never gets any traction. Reason being is because there's people who hate me so much, as I told you guys, people who stalk me and hate me so much.
Oh, wow. Are you going to tell us now that Twitter's holding you back, too? That Twitter's purposely censoring your tweets, and that's why no one sees them? Are we going to go that route now, Phil? Really? Really?
They will literally find people who like my tweets and stalk them. They're like, if you like anything Phil puts out there, we're going to come after you and we're going to harass you on social media and shit.
What?
So even though I have some like 23,000, well, I had 23,000. I think at this point I might have like 25,000 because I got so many new Twitter followers in the last like 12 hours. But, you know, I had like 23,000 Twitter followers, but in reality, when I tweet, 400,000 people see my tweets. That's not an exaggeration. I actually used a couple analyzation programs and things to figure out how popular actually is my Twitter account, even though it says only 23,000 people follow me.
Wait. You used a third-party program to try to figure out how popular your Twitter is. Yet you won't even take a real hard look at your own analytics on YouTube or on Twitch to find out what your problems are there on both of these platforms, respectively. Holy shit. Oh, man. Ladies and gentlemen, if this right here, this little segment part right here, isn't enough to show you, or to at least drive the point home, that he isn't trying in his hardest to fail on his own, I don't know what will. I really don't. I advocate this, that, ladies and gentlemen, Phil's worst detractor isn't Fred, isn't the SOK, it isn't Tevin, it isn't Lightside Bill, it isn't Mr. Snort Burnell or Mr. Huffstuffs or Mighty D, it's himself. He is, by far, his worst fucking detractor. And no one can ever take that from him. No one can ever pry that crown from his cold, gout-ridden hooves, actually. Well, I guess he could hold it with one hoof, theoretically. Nah, two, because he's greedy. Probably his snout also. Anyway, no one can pry it away from him. It's just not going to happen. He hurts himself in such a way that no one else could. And it's amazing. It's amazing because you would think he would know better. There isn't enough sympathy to fix that. And even if you do get sympathy, it's always in the short term. It'll never be in the long term. So then what? So once all that short-term money comes in and goes, then you're still stuck with a mess. A mess that you're going to have to clean up. But he won't do that because it's everybody else's fault. And he just lets it sit there. He literally lives Chris Chan's, you guys all seen Chris Chan. The way his house is, or it was, or whatever, before that bitch burned down, that fucking pigsty that ended up killing his father and all that nonsense, that's how Phil's internet house is, basically. Probably his real house too, but certainly definitely how his internet house is. It's just a fucking slop. It's a fucking toxic waste dump. It's a landfill. And he's just too lazy to clean it up. And it's so big now that he can't. And that 7-year slander video didn't do not a goddamn thing, but just pile more shit on.
I get like over 400,000 impressions on every fucking tweet I put out. Even though no one likes or retweets them, like tons of people see my tweets. Okay? So, I put out this tweet and it didn't really get a lot of traction. I think it maybe got between like 100 to 200 likes or something like that on Twitter. Alright? So later in the day, I come home, and finally, you know, I had a busy day out with my wife. I come home, and now it's time to relax. I'm unwinding. I open up Twitter again. And people have contacted me, and they're like, man, you know, did you really see the whole situation or whatever? And one person in particular says, Phil, you do realize that this person, who his life has fallen apart in the last 24 hours for infidelity, cheating on his wife, and a million other things going on behind the scenes. You do realize this person 3 years ago shitposted you for absolutely no fucking reason to get a laugh. Said, I'm not surprised. I'm I'm not surprised at all, because everyone does it. It's like I said. Sadly,
but Phil didn't need to be told that. He already knew. That's why he made the tweet in the first place.
People out there who this is what they do. They take the easy pot shot at me, the butt of the internet joke of content creation, right? To try to say, oh, you know, let's get a cheap
I mean, it's the only thing that you're good for, and it's the only thing that consistently works, that you put out. Under reasonable circumstances, there's no reason why someone shouldn't take advantage of it. To be honest, you can't do anything else, and you can't contradict it. If you could put out good quality, people are still waiting. If you could prove that you're a decent human being, people are still waiting. If you were worth the time of some of these bigger content creators who wanted to see if you could have a redemption arc, a true one, by the way, you haven't done that either. The Drunken Peasants learned that one. DSP News.
Out of our viewing audience. So in particular, you know, this guy did this over 3 years ago, and I just read the tweet that he put out there, and for him, alright, this tweet, to him, was kind of like, oh, let's just make fun of someone who's already beaten down. I know this guy's way below me in popularity, but, you know, let's just kick down and piss down even further on the people under me, just for a cheap laugh, you know? Basically, a really nasty, malicious thing to do, just to get cheap popularity out of your audience. It was completely irresponsible what this guy fucking did. I never had said a negative word about him. I didn't know much about him. In fact, if you guys don't know, I went to Screw Attack Gaming Convention in 2013. This was when they used to have these big conventions in Texas. And
okay. I think this backs up the claim that I made earlier about the 5-year situation. I think
I was one of the guests, you know, a content creator guest at the event, but almost no one came to see me. They all came to see this particular guy. All right.
I mean, I'll be honest, just like any other normal human, yes, am I jealous of certain people and of people who are successful and whatever? Of course I am. Of course I'm going to have jealousy. That's a natural human emotion for those who have more than you. You're always going to have that natural kind of jealousy of those who maybe have, been more successful or things like that.
And this guy had previously been a part of Screw Attack as a content creator and then went off to do his own thing and become actually popular on YouTube. So he was one of the featured guys at the event, right? So just imagine, this is an event that we kind of co-headlined, even though he was way more popular than me. A couple years later, I think I'll just say something really nasty about him on the fucking internet just for a cheap pop, right? Even though I'm way more popular.
Okay, so I was right. Now, here's the thing. Here's the first thing. How is it that you guys co-headlined it when he's bigger than you? Co-headline would be at least on some assumption or some ground that you guys would be considered equal. Just saying. And you weren't. You were a co-star. Just saying. That's kind of what it sounded like. Two, it's very, very obvious that you are very disgruntled about the fact that everybody came to see him and no one came to see you, which only proves my point about you being a waste of space. It is what it is. And three, the tweet that came out later, you probably have it saved somewhere on your desktop next to that topless picture of Panda, and you probably looked at it every once in a while. So when the whole Projared situation popped off, you took that 5-year situation, 5+ year situation at the Screw Attack convention. You took his tweet from 3 years ago and you just made it work. That's what really happened, or at least that's what I think.
Let's just do that. So if anything, this is evidence that this guy was a scumbag to begin with. Back years ago, before any of this new stuff came to public light, that this guy was basically an asshole. Okay? Now, at the time, I said nothing.
I'm small potatoes. All right? I'm small potatoes.
Because the bottom line is, like I said, on a daily basis, this happens to me probably dozens of times. Content creators will bring me up and make me the butt of their jokes and just say nasty shit about me. And I'm just like, well, let it roll. If I just sat here and I addressed every negative thing every content creator said about me, I would never actually put out any content of my own. I'm just being honest here. There would be no content of my own. This would just be me all day, every day addressing it. So there's no point. Okay?
Well, that might explain why you don't put out any good content. Just saying.
Positively, I'm the kind of
person...
It's
Tevin's fault, by the way.
That I would rather focus on good stuff. I would rather focus on positive, productive content. Let's put out a fun, interactive stream today with a new game rather than, let's just sit here and have a drama fest, stream. That's not what I'm about. Even though I am an interactive streamer now, and if people bring up drama, I will address their questions about it. I try not to make my streams the entirety end-all be-all about that shit.
Very, very, very hypocritical.
So that being said, this person shows me this tweet, and I'm like, man, so behind the scenes, this guy was a complete scumbag, right? All these horrible things that are coming out that this guy had actually done. And this guy had the fucking audacity. He was so fucking full of himself. Being at the top of the world, having 1 million YouTube subs, making tons of money hand over fist on his fucking YouTube channels. And this motherfucker went out of his way to piss on me.
I said, guess what?
Piss on you 3 years ago. Drip, drip, drip. Pee on you.
I think it's finally time that DSP bites back a little bit.
Ow! Why'd you do that?
You don't bite the hand that feeds you, I guess is what you say, but at the same time, when someone bites me, I'm gonna bite back. Why am I toxic? More toxic, overdramatic, drama queen toxic.
So I took his tweet, and I directly quoted it, and basically copied what he said, almost word for word, and basically said, because his tweet, actually, you know what, I should read it, so you guys understand what I'm talking about, because you guys might not understand what I'm talking about. So it was early 2016, his tweet said, I took a wrong turn on the internet and ended up reading DSP hilarity, haha, whoops, okay? So that's the usual kind of stab that everyone takes at me. That
I'm a joke, I don't do anything productive, I'm a negative, toxic guy, and everything about me is just laugh jokes, right?
So I directly quoted his tweet, and I said, took a day off from the entire internet, but Projared hilarity was at top of everyone's Twitter feed. Haha, whoops. And as of now, that tweet now has over 4,000 likes, over 1,000 retweets. So after I did that, people were contacting me and saying, oh my god, did you actually wait 3 years to strike back at this guy?
The taste on your lips, I want it all. A toxic, the best have been under. You know that you're toxic. Ow. taste on your lips is paradise, but I know that you're toxic. Unleash the beast, toxic. Oh.
And in reality, no. In reality, I had forgotten completely about it. Like I said, this is a commonplace thing for me. But someone had tweeted me this and said, are you aware that this guy actually insulted you directly 3 years ago? I was like, no. Well, you know what? Fuck it. All right, so I did that. Okay. And I put out that tweet, and people really seemed to like it. They're like, wow, this is funny. You know, it's funny that you're even getting on this, right? So I said, all right, you know what? This is the time and place to do this, because I've been biding my time. I seriously, ladies and gentlemen, have been biding my fucking time for years. I've been waiting for this moment, because everyone wanted to...
So then you haven't... So yeah, you do remember the tweet that Projared put out, and you sat around and waited. That's what biding your time means, you idiot. You're waiting for something to happen. And you're probably doing it with multiple people. That's what's even more funny. Oh, Phil.
Make me the joke. But you know what? Despite all the shit people have done to me, the horrible things they've done trying to ruin my livelihood and take away my financial, my income, ruining my YouTube channels, trying to get me banned from Twitch, getting me kicked out of Twitch's sponsorship program when I did absolutely nothing wrong, all the fucking online harassment that I've suffered, the swatting, the mental harassment from people, not only myself, but my fucking family, and my wife, and everyone who gets harassed just because I venture on the internet to make content, you know. Now's the time. So, I decided to make a new post. The post goes as follows. Pro tip for content creators. If you've done something worse than this, whether it's public or not yet, quit. And you were saying, what? Well, worse than what? I put the picture of my incident from 3 years ago, my embarrassing moment. I put it on the tweet.
Splashed, and then it got on my hand. So my hand's like sticky, and it fucking splashed all over me. What the hell? It seriously, and splashed all over my face and my pants. What the fuck? What the fuck? Hold on. Okay, hold on. Drying myself off here. What the shit? Fucking exploded all over me. Jesus Christ. Okay. Alright, I'm okay now. I've dried myself off. This thing goes all over me. Okay.
I said, because I'm still here, and you won't be. And good luck living with that. So I put that post up, and as of now, it's got 11,100 likes, over 3,000 retweets. Pretty major content creators like Boogie, as well as many others. It's not just him, but many other content creators saw this and not only liked it, but retweeted it. Boogie actually said it's now officially his favorite tweet ever. And by the way, I should say this, if you're one of the big content creators who did kind of give this post traction, okay, thank you, because it's very rare. It's very rare when I actually get any kind of positivity thrown towards me at all these days. The only people who do it are the hardcore viewers who are here every day on stream. Very rarely do I get any kind of positivity. In fact, I mean, just to give you an example, during my freaking wedding, I posted up the wedding photos, and not a single other content creator on the internet came to me and said congratulations. None. You know?
Let me ask you a question. When those other content creators got married, did you reach out to them? Oh, I don't follow those guys. Oh, okay, so then fuck you to them. Just saying. Like, who cares? Like, who gives a shit? You got married. Good for you. If you're getting married is one thing. Keeping your marriage going is another. No one should pat you on the back for that. It doesn't validate your marriage. If Phil is looking for other big content creators to validate his wedding or his marriage to Kat, you've got big problems. And trust me, you don't need Boogie validating that. We already know how his relationship worked out.
Because I become the butt of the internet's jokes, and so to actually interact positively with DSP was like the kiss of death. Don't get, that guy's toxic. In reality, I'm not the toxic one.
And then your people, Phil's a toxic streamer. No, you tried to make me look like that. The only reason he's popular at all on YouTube, because he's a toxic fucking guy, but the guy's so dumb he doesn't even realize it. Like, he doesn't even realize the stuff he puts out is toxic, and he doesn't know why people don't like him. That's how ignorant the guy is.
It's the people who have turned me into the internet's joke that made the toxic situation what it is. But it was actually nice. It was actually nice to actually see some people come out and do some positive stuff towards me. Okay? You know, so thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Okay? Whoever positively shared, you know, this, I appreciate it. So anyway.
Now, I've talked about this before. My example of choice right now was the thing with Wings, for example. If you guys remember, I think it wasn't too long ago, it's only a couple months ago, Wings had Josh from Kiwi Farms, whose YouTube channel is no longer on YouTube, which fucking sucks, because I enjoy watching his content, to be honest. That was actually kind of funny. He actually did a piece going over the people who harass Wings. And then somebody on Kiwi Farms decided to do Wings a solid. I guess that this was, you know, someone else other than Josh. And I guess I don't know. I can't remember. I can't exactly remember the details, but they kind of went in there and they shook up that more hardcore, I guess, hater group. I don't even know how you would really word that or how you would describe them. They went into that community and they basically shook shit up a little bit. Wings immediately sees this someone or maybe even a group of people who show him sympathy and decides to think, oh, I have some power now. I can fight back. And then starts to threaten that he's going to have people doxxed if they keep fucking with him. Now, you only see this type of behavior from powerless individuals. That's basically what it is. The funny thing is about a powerless individual, especially one on the internet, is they're probably the same person who's thrown threats at people before. Wings falls into that category. So, Wings had been getting shit on for about 2 years, and all of a sudden, someone decides to throw him a bone. Throw him some teriyaki wings. And he runs with it. And now he's thinking he's the man. Because he's thinking now, well, whoever it was that helped me out here, who saved him, if you will, is going to save him again. And he'll just start passing their information along to anybody who he feels is harassing him. Which ended up getting him suspended off of Twitch for like a week. And then he shut all that stupid shit down after that. Maybe, just maybe, you guys should just take the win and just move on it. And don't try to exploit it later. Which is exactly what DSP was doing with his Projared situation. Exactly what Wings did with his situation with the, I can't remember the group now. I think they're called the Whale Enthusiasts. Something like that. The Lion's Den, if you will. Excuse me. I need to actually go over those videos, by the way. But that's what that situation was. You had two individuals in Phil and Wings who didn't know how to take the generosity of other people. They didn't know how to deal with it. So they immediately exploited it. And it came back, it blew back up in their faces. As it rightfully should. To be honest. You didn't build an army, Wings. DSP, you're not building a fan base. It's over on both fronts. It's too late for Wings to build an army, and it's way too late for Phil to build a fan base. It's over. So people threw some sympathy fucking likes at you because of a situation that was already a hot topic. They're probably doing that for multiple people's tweets. Good for you. That doesn't make you special. It doesn't mean that you're going to get a redemption run on your fucking life online. It doesn't mean not a goddamn thing. In 48 hours, it all fizzled away. And after that, Phil's whole attitude fizzled away after that. Because he knew it didn't mean anything at the end of the day. No one cared. When he did his 7 years of slander, where was Boogie at for that? Where was all these other people retweeting all that shit? No one said a word. Church mice. The cheese stands alone, Phil. The cheese stands alone.
I put out this tweet, and overnight it went viral with so many people sharing it or whatever. I gained, no lie, at this point, probably about 1,500 Twitter followers, if not more. The thing is, this tweet is going viral. Like, in the last hour, it's gained over 1,000 likes, and it's actually gaining traction, getting more and more. My Twitter feed is exploding with people. Now, the thing is, I know it's not going to last. This is the kind of thing that happened to me 3 years ago when I had my incident, right? I had a little bit of positivity once I fessed up to it, admitted it. It lasted a couple weeks, and then after that, you know, things kind of calmed down. And I'll be very honest with all of you. I have no idea if any of you were actually here on the stream just to hear me talk about this. And after I finish this story, you're just going to take off. And, you know, if you do, you do. I really don't expect any kind of long-standing positive effect to come.
This guy's a pathological liar. I had to lie.
From this, as much as that would be amazing, and it could help me to kind of turn things around behind the scenes financially, because I am in a really bad rut right now because of so much shit that's happening.
Whoa. How do you getting new Twitter followers result in the money? Like, how do you parlay that into cash? Explain that to me. Do you really think people online are that stupid, Phil? They see you make a tweet vulturing basically off of somebody else. They like your tweet. A few of them, or not even a few of them, I guess 1,000 or so end up following you. And then what? You thought they were going to come to your streams and just give you money and just be brand new piggies? Did you really think that was going to happen? Did you really think that's how that works? No established trust, you know, not seeing what Phil is about, none of those things. You guys are just going to immediately follow me from Twitter to my Twitch and give me money. Because now I'm going to give you guys the poor broke man story. Despite the fact that I don't beg for money, I mean Phil doesn't actually beg for money, and that he only does this because he needs help, and he doesn't do it all the time. But if he was successful, he wouldn't need to beg for money. And more importantly than that, if he wasn't doing it all the time, then why are there pre-stream after pre-stream after pre-stream saying, thanks guys for showing up to my stream, I very much appreciate it. Before we get into contributions, I'd like to tell you guys that if you guys, I really need you guys, if you really want to contribute, if you really want to help support me, you would tip me today. I really need it so that money can go straight to my bills. There are literally weeks, if not months of pre-streams that are worded that exact way. Day in, day out. Without even skipping a beat. But Phil doesn't ask for money. He's on an e-beggar. Okay.
And it would really help me to get more attention on my streams and more contributions. The bottom line is, as I'm about to tell you guys, the bottom line is, I rely pretty much solely on crowdfunding in order to keep things going.
What do you say people will think when they bring up DSP? The incident, and I'm a beggar, and I'm a thief, and I'm this, and I'm that. Oh, you know, when Phil tried to scam his fucking viewers.
Alright, and I used to be able to just rely on YouTube ad income. I can't do that anymore. I make almost nothing on YouTube, no exaggeration. When I used to make a living doing YouTube, now I probably make 1/10 of as much money income a month from ad revenue as I used to. 1/10 as much as I used to on YouTube. So I had to dramatically change my format to be an interactive streamer and constantly be doing shout-outs and thank yous for all of your contributions and everything, which is great. I love it. In fact, I think my content's better, but I do rely on crowdfunding now to make ends meet, you know? So it would be amazing if in the next few weeks we get more viewers on the streams as a result of this, and people, wow, Phil actually isn't the bad guy that people always purported him to be. In fact, what he's pointing out is that his worst moment is nowhere near as bad as what people make it out to be. Look at how all these other content creators actually were secretly shitheads behind the scenes, and we've been supporting and giving them crowdfunding for years, and they never fucking deserved it because they were toxic scumbags. While in reality, DSP wasn't so bad. He's certainly not perfect, and he makes tons of mistakes, but he's still an entertaining guy that we maybe should have not beaten down as much as we did over the last 10 years, and then he wouldn't be in the situation he's in.
So you're going to pig shame them into giving you money. You are going to pig shame these people into giving you money. You guys were idiots for giving all these bigger content creators all that money when they're already rich. Or they were pretending to be nice guys or nice people in general, and they really weren't. So you guys should now come here and give me all of the money that you would give to them, because I went ahead and used an embarrassing moment, which isn't even his worst, as the catalyst to some degree, as a prop to go ahead and get at Jarrett. Are you fucking insane? And his dumbass really thought this was gonna work. You really thought you were gonna pig shame these people into giving you money. And you wonder why now he's sitting here cheating people out of fucking video games that they want him to play. Well, he's been doing that, but he ain't cheated these guys out of hundreds of dollars to play what? I got it written down somewhere. Plague Tale. At this point, he's probably already played it and beaten it by this point and erased it. But he sat there and scammed them for at least between $500 and $700. But what happened to all these new people that are supposed to be giving you a chance, Phil? What happened to all that?
So the bottom line is this, guys. thank you so much for any kind of positivity, all right? And the truth of the matter is that, like I said, I don't expect anything. I really don't expect anything long-term as a positive effect of this at all.
He's a piece of crap. He's a lying piece of crap.
As much as I would like it, I've got over 1,000 new people who follow me on Twitter. Those people aren't going to stick around because they just want to see drama every day. You know, they're there to, oh, well, who's Phil going to attack and take down next? I'm probably not going to. You know, this is just kind of a one-time thing where this is a situation I had a chance to strike back on someone who was nasty to me 3 years ago, and it was the...
He didn't take down Projared. He didn't take down Projared. He's just another vulture that came in and was eaten off of the guy's corpse. And the guy ain't even dead yet. You know what I'm saying? Phil literally just came in and is just pecking at him. He's not dead. You know what I'm saying? Projared's career is not even over yet. That story's still being played out. Phil was just trying to come in and trying to evaluate how much he can walk away with, which wasn't much. Let alone was he able to keep it.
Perfect timing, the perfect stab back. And, you know, it is what it is, okay? So, thank you all for your support and everything. I do appreciate it. What I'll do now, just very quickly, like I said, I don't want this pre-stream to be the entirety of my stream. So what I'm going to do is transition now into plugs so you guys understand. You know, there's many ways you can support me. You've been seeing this on the pre-stream. I have a Patreon, I have a Teespring. In fact, I'm wearing one of my shirts from Teespring right now, which in my opinion is one of the more, I just clicked the wrong thing. It's one of the more inspirational shirts that I have. You know, 10 years of DarkSyde Phil. And outside of those 10 years, 7 years I've been the butt of the internet's joke. Yeah, I'm still here every single day putting out content for all of you guys. You know, because I love what I do. I love my viewer base. I want to keep doing this, despite the fact that there's people who literally will at every moment make a joke at my expense, like Mr. Projared, who now is the butt of everyone else's joke and pretty much has been destroyed and he has no more career whatsoever.
I just don't understand people. Like, how can you be like that? You know? How can you have zero feeling of any kind of sympathy or empathy? Like, get the fuck out of here. These people are just insane. I just don't even know what to say, man. How are people so evil? How are people so fucked up and evil that this is what...
Now, keep in mind, what he's saying right now is because people are making fun of him. So, because you make a joke about DarkSyde Phil, you're fucking evil and immoral. Keep that in mind.
Do to someone. Like, how can you live? How can you morally...
Yet he sat there and threatened to punch people or threaten assault on people. Accused people of getting into a position because she let the executives gangbang her at the fucking EA conference room to get in her position. This, that, and the third. This idiot has spewed off bullshit for 11 plus years. But when it came back on him, everybody's evil and immoral, and no one could take his personal feelings into consideration. And his only fucking excuse was it was a joke, or Howard Stern did it. Why are you guys taking it so seriously? Why are you guys being so goddamn sensitive? Why the fuck is he being so sensitive then? Why is he being so sensitive about it? Oh, because it directly affects his money. How? When he was already falling apart. He was already fading. If Adpocalypse didn't happen, right? Let's say Adpocalypse didn't happen. Eventually, he still would have had to go over to Twitch. He would have eventually. It was just what was gonna happen. He wasn't gonna make enough money on YouTube. And what was he gonna do? Keep begging on YouTube? Then more videos would have came out on him. That doesn't stop anything. Excuse me. It doesn't stop anything. It was gonna go bad for him either which way. Now, granted, most people are gonna say, "Well, we don't really know. We don't, you know, it is what it is. We'll never know because that situation didn't play out, that scenario." And that's fair. That is very fair. But I'm pretty confident that's what was going to happen. Just like him getting dropped from Machinima. He was going to get dropped. Because far more successful individuals got dropped. What makes you think they were going to keep fucking DarkSyde Phil around? Just saying. All that would have done is prolong his existence on Curse a little longer. Maybe. And maybe, if he didn't leave Curse the first time and just stuck with it the whole way through, maybe they would have considered on holding off and maybe letting him stick around a little longer instead of just dropping him because allegedly they were paying a person apparently way too much money to go through all the false reports and air quotes that were on DarkSyde Phil. I don't think they're going to fire you because that's what they did. They're going to fire you over a false report. There must have been some legitimacy there. to get rid of you. Sorry. And Phil can sit there and say that they kissed his ass and they try to let him down nice and easy and this, that, and the third. But really what happened was, Phil, you're a fucking problem. We can't deal with this right now. Sorry, you gotta go. That's what really happened. Just because he's not man enough to tell you that doesn't mean that's not how the situation played out.
And sleep in that fucking bed and get a sound sleep. I couldn't. I would be...
Well, apparently Kat couldn't either, since you made her sleep on the couch, asshole.
Mental hospital. If this is me doing that shit.
I'm still here, man, and I'm still toughing through it. I'm not giving up, you know. I'm going to keep doing this, what I love, for as long as I can, even though I know I can't do it forever. Eventually, I'm going to get older. I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm going to have to transition into something else. You know, I just want to say thanks to those who allow me to do it for as long as I have, and, you know, hopefully I can keep it up, at least, you know, in the short term. All right? So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, rather than go into a million ways that you guys can support me, the best thing I'm going to say today is if you cheer, sub, or tip during my streams, I'll give you a shout-out, a verbal shout-out. Keep in mind that what I try to do is not derail the stream, so if it's during gameplay, I will still give you a shout-out, and if there's a question or whatever, I'll still answer it. But understand that if it's something completely unrelated to what's going on with this whole Jared situation or the game I'm playing, I might not address it. I usually do not address politics or religion whatsoever on my streams, and I certainly do not address things like insults towards myself or other content creators, toxic comments, you know, memes that are meant to be malicious, that kind of stuff I just kind of ignore. It's very subjective what I say on my streams, up to me. And I'm not going to make this the let's all roast Projared 24/7 for the next week kind of a deal. I'm not going to do that. You know, it's okay to ask, it's okay to talk about it. It's not okay to just make it 100% about it, okay?
King of hypocrisy. Listen, I know that that's a little bit hypocritical.
But in particular, everybody, in particular, if you really want to help me out, all right? If you're not, wow, you know, I'm a longtime viewer of Phil, I want to help him, or I'm a relatively new viewer of Phil, this whole situation is awesome, you know, what's going on, people are seeing Phil in a positive light, I want to help support him, or if you're just a newcomer, the first time you're ever here, as a basis of what happened on Twitter, and you want to support me the most, please tip me today. Alright, I'm in a bad financial situation right now, but it's behind the scenes. I'm not going to tell you guys publicly about what's going on because it's not going to help anything to disclose this to you guys. It's just not. But right now, I basically have no money. And it sucks. All the tips that people have given me the last week, I put into my bank account to pay bills. It's already gone. And I'm not getting paid by Twitch for another week. So anything you guys give me with tips right now is basically what I'm using to pay bills for the next week. And if I can't pay a bill, it overdraws my bank account or whatever. It is what it is.
That's your fault. That's your fault. You created that business model. You created a flawed business model, and now you're saying there's nothing you could do about it? No, it's your business. You created the monster, you unleashed the monster, and now your complaint is, well, the monster's too powerful to control. Well, fuck you. That's your fault.
It sucks. That's the shitty situation I'm actually in because of circumstances. And yes, a lot of those circumstances are my fault, terrible decisions that I made. All right? Financial decisions. All right, continuing on.
So, all right, so let's think about that for a minute. I'm in a messed up spot. You guys, you know, if you want to help me, you should help me. I made these mistakes, but now I need you guys to bail me out. So let's say someone was willing to help Jared out, and you called them, you know, the last Jared fanboy for trying to stick up for him, but now you're actually brand new people to stick up for you and pay you so you can keep continuing to do what you do. You don't see a problem with that at all? If people want to contribute, then so be it. But for you to blatantly ask them to, and then give them the sob story that, oh, I don't get my big paycheck from Twitch for another week, so you guys need to give me all this money now because I got bills due this week, like today, and you guys need to give me all this new money now. All that's gonna do is turn the new viewer off because they're gonna like, wow, you have time to shit on Jared, but you don't even have enough time to square away your own life. And just to get a little bit more in-depth into that, your own financial situation? Huh. Okay. DSP News.
Hodar Tar cheered. He says, I don't know much about the Jared fiasco, but every time you engage in trash talk, I feel like people end up fucking buried beyond return. Do you remember Tony Turner? He's a white Bill Cosby now. And keep the meme tweets going. They're top content. Real talk. The thing is, I think the reason that it stings when I actually take a jab at someone is because I don't always do it. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many people out there who over the years have personally attacked me directly. But again, to get that cheap pop, to get that instant recognition and the cheap laugh from their viewing audience, I've always said this, I feel those people are hacks. If all you can do is get cheap pops from your viewers, it means that you don't have any valid content to put out there. You just have to do what you know is easy, the easy way out, the easy laugh, the easy attention, right? So I don't take cheap pops. I don't. But in this particular case with Jared, this is someone who had out of nowhere insulted me years ago, even though we had, you know, a positive affiliation at a Screwtack Gaming Convention in the past, and I was like, you know what? Fuck this guy. Just being honest. So, I think the reason it stings so bad is because I don't usually do this, and I perfectly summed it up, and I perfectly, basically, destroyed the guy with what I said.
Oh, Phil actually is a really toxic person, so we're just gonna keep saying, why am I toxic? Because it's a meme.
And, there you have it. You know, there you have it. At this point now, it's...
Right there, just from what he said, should be enough to make anybody look at him and be like, you know what, I'm done. He's just as much of an asshole as Projared is. Very much so. The same type of arrogance Projared had when he divorced his wife on Twitter, you're seeing that same shit done here. He's no better. And that's the reason why all those people who showed up ended up leaving him just as quick. Shit is shit, no matter what the source. And Phil really thought he was gonna, like I said, pig shame these people into having his back over some fucking tweets. Amazing.
Let's see here. 11,300 likes and growing. So
and still checking them to validate his existence.
It really is just growing and growing here, so. Alright. Code Castiel has resubscribed for 2 months. Thank you very much, Code Castiel, for the resub. I appreciate that. Philly Buckeye ESP. Cheers. He says, how can people still justify hating on you so much considering all the terrible stuff these other people are doing? It just makes the treatment you get pretty BS. I mean, I've only been saying that since the beginning. Like, the thing is, and this is the problem when you get a meme that attaches to you.
Wait a second. How is that fair or even true when you said that most of the mistakes that were made were your fault? Now all of a sudden, oh, all of it was unjustified no matter what? See how the story keeps changing up?
You have a negative meme attached to you, it doesn't matter if it's true or not. And the problem is I've become the butt of the internet's jokes so badly that whenever you hear something about DSP, you just believe it, right? Oh, yeah, I believe that that he hired an escort with money that he claimed was...
And I also believe that he lied to his fans so he could go ahead and have a wedding. Despite the fact that I still don't think the money that you scammed out of those kids actually went to that wedding. I think it went to something else to line your pockets, to be honest. Or you did use some of it on that trip. Either which way, you lied. April 1st, you said you couldn't get married, you couldn't afford it. Less than 10 days later, you're married.
His back state taxes situation, and he flew her across the globe, and the whole thing was bullshit. And this happens all the time. People make these stories up with no actual evidence because they're not true at all. But people just believe it. And then I become the butt of the internet jokes, you know, and people hate on me, and I can't ever have any real significant growth or whatever because of this nonsense. And it's people like Jared who pile on that mentality with tweets and insults towards me that, you know, now karma comes back, you know. Bill Cosby, tip me $1. Is at least I'm not a pedophile like that Subway Jared bastard. I mean, that's probably the worst. That probably is the absolute worst you could do is like that. Yeah,
actually, that's another interesting point, too. Why didn't he bring up Jared? Subway guy. Throwing salamis at underage kids. Why didn't he bring that up? But you wanted to go for Bill Cosby, though, because Bill Cosby was a good hit, right? Despite the fact that wasn't Jared promoting positivity and shit through fucking healthy eating and a healthy lifestyle? And didn't he impact millions of people worldwide? Huh. Not that I'm implying that Phil is what he is, but it's really funny how he selects shit. Just saying, though. You don't want to be like Monday Matt Phil and be a pedo apologist. You don't want that.
But I'm not going to be... I guess murder might be even worse. But I don't know. Let's not talk about that. Alexander Rossi cheered and said, which Jared do you hate more, the Subway guy or the YouTube guy? I don't hate any of them. That's the thing. A lot of people have a misconception about me. I don't hate them.
How is that a misconception when you waited 3 years to strike him? There must be a level of hate there. And hate's motivating. But I didn't hate him. I just sat around for 3 years and waited for him to fuck up. And admitted as such. Gotcha. Laid in wait for 3 years, but I don't hate the guy. Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. That really does.
Fucked up people. They do fucked up things behind the scenes that never should have become, public. But the bottom line is this. There's a few things you need to understand. Number one, when you're a public-facing content creator, your life is not private, and things may come to light that you don't want. Therefore, the best way to go about it is to not do horrible fucking things. I mean, I don't know how you could think you're going to cheat on your wife and eventually divorce her, and it's not going to come out publicly all the fucked up stuff you've done behind the scenes. I mean, it's pretty obvious it's going to. That's number one. Number two, and I hate to say this, guys, but this is this one's on some of you guys, you know, depending on the people you watch and support. You have to understand something.
Here comes the pig shaming. So if you guys didn't catch the reference I was making, you'll catch it here.
Who you choose to come and watch on Twitch and you go to watch their videos on YouTube, the person who you throw $1 of support, the person who you buy their merch or you pledge to their Patreon, or, you know, whatever it is, whatever method of contribution you may do, you have to understand that you're contributing to a certain kind of culture, all right? If you're someone on YouTube who has 1 million subscribers, who has ridiculous amounts of views on every video, all right, and they're living the dream already, and you go and send them money, you know what I mean? Versus someone who's out there who's struggling. There's tons of independent people putting out insanely high quality content on a daily basis, and they're completely overlooked because YouTube has created this system where only the people who are at the top can even be seen anymore. All right? So you have to understand that when you throw your support towards someone who already has support and doesn't really need it, versus someone who is struggling and needs that support desperately, you're basically creating a culture of that type of person only being successful and no one else can ever be successful at all. All right? And I've been saying this for years. You have to be...
Despite the fact that someone like Keemstar, who accused a 70-plus-year-old man, the guy might have been 80, of being a fucking pedo, despite the fact that Keem was wrong, and whoever it was that did the research for it was blatantly wrong. The guy didn't even look like the other individual, like, because it was just two separate people, and whatnot. It was just a mistaken identity. And yet, Keem takes shit for that. Keem takes shit for that fuck up to this very day. One of the reasons is because he tried to pay the guy off, which is really pathetic and just really egregious that you would fucking, like, money's gonna make that go away. Anyway, whatever. Even to this day, Keemstar gets shit for that, and yet he's still successful. He still is, well, it's not officially his channel, because officially he's not supposed to own a channel. But the point, his brand, which theoretically shouldn't exist either, but whatever. His brand, his channel, what the fuck you want to call it, it still exists and it's still prospering. And people have been shitting on Keem forever, and they will continue to do so. So how do you explain his success and your lack of it? How does that work? And Keem has done some really fucked up shit. And yet, people still come out to watch him. But you can't get a look you can't get a look if your life depended on it. Hence the reason why you had to depend on Projared fucking up so you could catch a buzz. You want to explain that to me? You want to try to weave that out if you can? I appreciate it. Not really. I wouldn't appreciate it.
Very careful, the people who you support, because the bottom line is a lot of these people who are virally popular are popular for the wrong reasons, or they're popular because, you know, you don't really know who they are. And the next thing you know, you get a Projared who, oh shit, I supported this guy for years. Behind the scenes, he was actually a piece of shit, you know, and you supported him for how long? Versus someone out there who isn't huge, who needs the support, who's struggling on a daily basis, and you kind of just didn't give them the time of day because you were so into this guy who was overhyped over here.
But those people don't have to be sympathetic to you. You're acting like everybody on the internet should somehow take the knee to you. And first off, become invested in your plight, which is silly in its own right, to be honest, to some degree, and then pay you because of it. Despite the fact that you admitted early on in this that most of it was your fault. They don't have to give you a look. They don't have to do anything. And when they get there, they still don't owe you nothing. If they decide to watch the content they find entertaining, they might come back. But they don't have to throw money at you. They don't have to throw money at you over a tweet. They don't have to throw money at you over your own personal fuck-ups and financial blunders. They don't owe you nothing. 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 They don't owe you anything. And that's what Phil Burnell's problem is. He believes that every person on the internet owes him something. which is Bad Bunny before Bad Bunny. Amazing.
You got to be careful. You got to be careful who you lend your time and support to, because you may have ended up supporting someone for years who just ends up being a scumbucket versus someone who actually maybe is being unfairly treated. I'm just saying.
I can't believe he really pig-shamed these people into this shit. He really did. He blatantly pig-shamed all these people into this. That's a goddamn shame. And yet people will defend him for it. You pig-shamed a bunch of people into feeling bad for you. And for supporting other content creators. Because that was a two-prong attack. Theoretically it's three, but we'll just focus on the two. One, anybody who's already successful on YouTube or Twitch, respectfully, you shouldn't give money to because they're already successful. Two, basically, anybody who's ever made fun of DarkSyde Phil in any type, way, shape, or form, you basically owe Phil money because you guys didn't give him a chance, you guys didn't give him a look, and it's you guys contributed, whether directly or indirectly, in his own failure. That's basically what he told you guys. That's fucking amazing.
And don't worry, everyone. We're going to get to Days Gone, but, you know, this is, I knew this was going to happen. It would be an exciting pre-stream with so many people coming in. So, you know, once I get through shoutouts, we're going to get started. I promise. The Phil Drama Show every day. Why do you think people who previously would do valid gameplay are now sitting there doing current events and talking drama-style videos because they're trying to jump on the bandwagon of free money for minimal talent and minimal input, minimal work? Because this is all YouTube is now. It's a toxic, disgusting fucking place that's not getting cleaned up. Minimum effort, minimum money and time involved, maximum profit.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to preface tonight's stream with this. Earlier today, I fully and formally addressed on my pre-stream, you know, the whole situation that happened with me on Twitter last night and yesterday. It's still unfolding. We've still got people going crazy tweeting about it. As of right now, my one main tweet that's been super popular has over 15,000 likes and 4,000 retweets, while the other tweet that I made has about 5,000 likes and like thousands of retweets. Big content creators are coming out and saying, wow, this is, you know, this is a cool situation for Phil, and is this Phil's redemption arc?
No.
This is just pretty hilarious, because the way I say it is, there's nothing to redeem. Like, the people who think there needs to be a redemption arc basically have never watched me or don't know the truth about me, because I know, you know, the things that people say about me and shit were never true to begin with. You know what I mean? Like, the one mistake that I made in 2016 is long gone, and everything else, yes, I've said dumb shit and things over the years, but never enough to warrant the hate against me. So for me, it's like, what do I redeem? All I'm going to be doing, guys, is doing my normal streams. I put out my content. Hopefully, you guys will keep coming back and checking out and hanging out with me. You know what I mean? That's all I want, is for you guys to just have fun with me on a daily basis and hang out and chill. And hopefully, have a good time.
Give me money. And, you know, it's a win-win situation as long as that's what happens. That's all I care about. I don't care about anything else.
I'm not a shit poster. I'm not a drama guy. It's funny because someone already said, oh, there's another big YouTuber who's having his fall from grace today. Why aren't you talking about that? Because I'm not a shit poster. I'm not a shit talker. I'm not a drama queen. I mean, yeah, I could have easily posted up, oh, look, someone else already stole the steam from Projared and blah, blah. Who cares? That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to put out quality entertainment.
Then that right there proves that that was a calculated attack on someone that you've held a grudge over. You've had a grudge against for over 5 years. That proves it. Him getting slighted at the Screw Attack conference, the tweet 3 years after that, or the tweet 2 years theoretically after that. You know what I'm saying? That right there is why he targeted Jared, and that's why he still keeps doing it, to be honest with you. If this was just some random run-of-the-mill shit, he would have put out a tweet and that's it. He's sitting there enjoying his fucking handiwork, and that's why he keeps refreshing Twitter so he can see what he did. And he doesn't want to target nobody else because he's scared. He can kick Jared while he's down because Jared can't kick back. But he doesn't want to go after someone else new, and then they go ahead and pull out a bunch of DSP shit that they have heard or they may be sitting on, which only fucks his whole life up again, if you will. That's the reason why he did it the way he did it.
for you guys. This is what I've strived to do since the first day I ever put a video on YouTube in 2008, and since the first day in 2017 that I became a full-time streamer. This is what I'm here for. I'm not here for the crap. Every once in a while something happens and we want to talk about it back and forth on stream. That's cool, but I'm not going to make it the end-all and be-all of who I am. Alright?
Unbelievable.
What do I think of YouTube audiences flipping on creators the second anything goes wrong? I think what we have now is an era of... It's kind of like the same thing that happened with the Time's Up movement, where people are now getting exposed for these things that have been going on behind the scenes for years, and people are just giving them the benefit of the doubt and said, they're a popular content creator, oh well, it's fine, or I don't believe it. Now, you know, these things get exposed and that's it. You know, like, people are like, nah, fuck that. And the bottom line is, it's like I said in my original tweet yesterday, if you're a content creator and you rely solely on content creation for your income, your life is going to be transparent. You're going to have things exposed to the internet no matter how much you try to sweep under the rug or hide. There's going to be things that are going to come out. So you fucking very well better be sure that you don't have stuff going on behind the scenes. There's no skeletons in your closet or anything like that. As you guys know, I've been incredibly transparent over the years.
I'm good at lying.
These days I'm not, because I don't want to have a negative effect on my wife with the stuff that, you know, that goes on in our personal life. But, you know, it's not like I'm keeping stuff from you guys that's, oh my god, did you hear the horrible things to people and things behind the scenes? No.
You know, I have nothing to hide. Nothing.
So for me, it's like a zero concern. I am zero concerns about anything ever getting out, because there's literally nothing to get out. The stuff that you guys hear is all fucking bullshit that's spun negatively anyway, but for all these other content creators these days, like, Jesus, can you imagine the shit that they've been doing?
Now, he's someone who's relied on solely content creation, and now he relies on crowdfunding. And he thinks he's, what, less exposed? He really believes this? Wow.
I mean, how many people they get this power? They get this position of money and power, and all of a sudden, it's like they say power corrupts, and they become different people.
This is the reason why Phil wouldn't be able to hold on to a job. And this is the reason why Phil never found a career. This is exactly why. This is exactly why.
These people who use people, they abuse people, they scam their viewers and audiences, they emotionally and physically abuse the people around them, and just, you know, for what? You're at the top of the fucking world. You're a fucking YouTuber with 1 million subscribers, or you're a streamer with a bajillion followers, and you gotta fucking do that?
You know, it's just, talk about complete immaturity and lack of any kind of fucking self-consciousness, right? Like, I have no self-awareness of who I am and the fact that I have this power over people. You know, I'll be very honest, in my early days of YouTube, this is being meek, very upfront with all of you, because we have nothing to do while this loads. I felt that power. I did. I had people, they would come up to me at a convention. You know, you'd see it in their eyes when you met them, that, like, they were enamored with you because you were an internet celebrity, and you're like, Jesus, I've got, like, this fucking clout and this control to make people who you know, it's just nuts. In a lot of ways, nuts.
No, what he wanted to say is I had people that I could tell them to do something and they would do it. One example, I just did this on the other channel recently. When DarkSyde Phil, when that channel went down because of a false copyright strike, which turned out to be not even, well, like I said, it was a false copyright strike, he actually had his viewers go to the company and spam them to get an answer. And the company, after a while, was basically like, we didn't flag him, we don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about, get off our back. They took that information, went to YouTube, and YouTube basically was like, okay, he was false flagged, and then they let it go. He basically dog whistled for these people, his fan base, to go to this developer to see if the copyright strike was real, and two, why did they give it to him, and essentially to bully that developer to release it, even though they had nothing to do with it. Hence the reason why they weren't responding to them in the first place. But then again, there's a lot of what's it called? There's a lot of developers out there just arrogant pricks anyway, so it is what it is. So trust me, he's been attacking people and sending his fan base to attack people for a very long time. A very long time. So he can't say that he never misused his power or authority or his influence, or what a fucking buzzword you want to give it. Because he's done all of that. Because power corrupts absolutely. Period. There is no getting around it, and there are very few people that are the exception to it. If you've been around the Detractor community of any period of time, you kind of already know this.
Okay, it is crazy that anyone would have that kind of fucking power from just making videos on the internet or being someone who's in front of a fucking camera every day. Who cares, right? To me, I told you guys, I never really had any role models growing up. I was never the person who aspired to be like anyone. I got into this by accident. It was a complete fluke that I would ever do this for a living or anything like that. So when I saw that...
You getting fired was a fluke?
Saw... You know,
even though you said in that actual video, because I've gone over that video too, that this was a long time coming and it was going to end up being this way anyway. He just never went into the details on why he got fired. But it's obvious that it was his fault.
People coming up to me and saying things like, oh my god, I can't believe I get to shake your hand and sign an autograph, or, you know, even in those early days of YouTube, we're talking way early, like the very, maybe 1 or 2 conventions I ever went to early on, before anything with my relationships or anything going public, there were girls who would come up to me and be like, oh my god, DarkSyde, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, Jesus Christ, like, these girls, you can tell in their heads, they're like, oh my god, they're looking up to me, and, you know, it's nuts, it's nuts. I'm sure there were guys too like that, you know what I mean? But you see what I mean? Like,
so that's why you preyed on your fan base for one fiance and then a soulmate fiance and now wife? Makes sense, huh? Why actually go out and meet people in the real when you can just go ahead and take advantage of the people that are already part of your fan base? I mean, you already got money out of them, you're already sending them to attack other people. You might as well go ahead and pull a potential fiance, and when that don't work, pull a potential soulmate wife out of that. He went to the well twice and it paid off, kinda.
These content creators just blatantly use that shit to fucking use their power to abuse people and to fuck with people, and that's not right, man. That's just not right at all. At all. Thank God, you know, thank God. Now, it was a weird thing for me, because at the time when I was very popular on YouTube from like 2010 to 2012, it was the early days of doing stuff and becoming popular for doing it. So for me, it was like, it wasn't like Phil, even though I was one of the bigger gaming YouTubers, it wasn't like Phil is a worldwide celebrity like now with these fucking Ninja and PewDiePie and all these guys, right? But, you know, still, the fact that I didn't ever get it in my head that, oh, I'm going to use my power to start doing crazy shit. Ask people for fucking nudes over the internet and shit. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. People have to talk about how fucked up you could be in your head. All I ever wanted to do was play a video game, have fun, and share that experience with someone on the internet. Period. That's it. That's
so
all
how old were you? How old was Panda again when you first started talking to her? Just that's the first thing. Second thing is that, as Snort brought up, that side boob, that picture, that side view of Panda topless. How old was she when she took that picture? You ever want to explain any of these things? All you keep saying is she was legal age, she was legal age, she was legal age. She wasn't legal age when you started talking to her. I'm almost sure of that. Now, was she legal age when he started dating her? For his sake, you better hope so. But I don't think she was legal age yet when they started talking. I don't think that was the case at all. And the way he explains it is they were talking for months on and off before they actually started dating. That's a whole lot of time, being that Phil's birthday is in April and I think her birthday is in August. Just saying. And you go, and this is something that I'm looking for and I've yet to find yet, but I know it's out there, is that Panda has a video where she talks about how she met Phil. And she sent him I guess a private message once on YouTube about how she liked his content, and he basically harassed her until she agreed to date him. I want that clip. I want that clip. If anybody knows where it's at, holla at me. But I want that clip. I want that clip. Because that right there blows all of that up. Because because the timestamp of that video will at least give me give all of us a general idea of how old she was when they started talking. And like I said, I think, it's my own opinion, I think it was before she was actually 18.
Ever wanted to do with a video or a stream. The fucking ideas these people get in their fucking heads, they're nuts. They're nuts. And by the way,
you mean as nuts as sitting around for 3 years to get back at somebody? That seems kind of nuts too. Actually, it seems kind of just flat out crazy, to be honest. You know, for someone who has all this good stuff going on in his life, and this, that, and the third, to be holding a grudge that long over a tweet, that seems kind of, it seems like there's something wrong with that, Phil. Just saying.
I should say, not to say, that people didn't throw themselves at me, because there were quite a few people who they want to, can I get to know you? Can I hang out with you?
Yeah, nah, no, we all know this is getting to a lie. Because like I said, if that clip ever surfaces, Phil, about Panda saying that you basically harassed her until she finally agreed to date you, you're going to be royally fucked.
Cheers. Can I do this? I'm like, oh, Jesus. I think I'm gonna take a step back from that shit. I'm just here to play a game and have fun and maybe make a couple bucks doing it. I don't need to fucking be involved.
Play a game, have fun, make a couple bucks from it. And might have been a good idea, being that they're probably all jail bait. You got low testosterone anyway, so yeah, that wasn't gonna work either which way for you.
Shit, you know. But that's what I mean. Some
we
people.
Another clip that I'm looking for is after you and Panda moved over to Seattle, she said that, you know, basically your sex life died. You know. Sorry, Phil. I mean, you just came up short yet again. Life hasn't been very generous to you, Phil. It really hasn't.
They get caught up in that, and that's what I mean. Like, power does corrupt. Power changes you. When you have that celebrity, that power.
Didn't Aryan Lord make a video about how you changed? And didn't you do like a response video to that? You know what? I think I'm gonna do that video next if I can find it. Well, that'll be the next big video if I can find that shit. Yeah, I think it was like his 2014 perspective of DSP Gaming or some shit. I'm sure I can find it.
I never allowed myself to do that, but man, I really feel, I'm being very honest, this is the tip of the iceberg, because we had that with the Me Too movement with celebrities and the like, and now it's happening for content creators and YouTubers. It's just going to keep getting worse. Like, we're going to hear more and more content creators being exposed now for being bad people behind the scenes and the horrible people they've hurt over the years and the things that they fucking do that are twisted. I think the floodgates opened with Toby Turner years ago when that sexual abuse.
Not going to talk about drama, but proceeds to talk about drama. And hope for more upcoming drama. Smart move, Phil.
Drug abuse scandal hit, and since then it's slow trickle. Now all of a sudden it's like every day. Just what was it? Last week there was the guy who was convicted. He's going to jail for like 10 years for soliciting minors, underage girls, sending him fucking pictures of their nudes and shit. And now we did Projared. Immediately we got another one today. It's like, Jesus, dude, like this is gonna happen every day now at this fucking point.
But it's a double standard, right? It's a double standard. Listen, I am no moral authority on anything.
So, yet again...
Burn in hell, Burnell.
Sorry about that. So, yet again, he can name off all this YouTube drama, despite the fact that he doesn't watch YouTube, and he doesn't participate in YouTube drama. But he basically is, you know, raffling off all these different situations that are going on that are recent, but still felt the need to bring up Bill Cosby, though. Because, yeah, Bill Cosby was an easy hit. Just like OJ was an easy hit later on. Smart move, Phil. Well played, sir. Well played. Howard Stern is proud, I'm sure.
And now I'm gonna burn in hell for the rest of eternity because of it. You can't change who you are, I guess. What pasta do you prefer? I prefer a penne. Oh! Easy to eat. Oh! Phil's a faggot. Phil's fat. Phil's a loser. Phil's a beggar. Phil's a racist. Phil's a scammer. DSP's a pedophile. DSP is a thief. DSP is a greedy fuck.
This guy's a bitch.
Indeed. Indeed he is, Cat. Indeed he is. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end it off there, because I don't really think there's too much else to say about it. Like I said, the Projared situation as a whole is still a thing in process. So we'll actually see what Projared's half of that is at a later time and date. As for Phil, he's a vulture. He's an opportunist. And didn't even do it properly. And took what little buzz that he did get and just ran with it. And didn't really... and it didn't work out. It lasted about 72 hours and that was the end of the story. You know what I'm saying? Just long enough for him to do his 7 years of slander, which turned out to be a fucking joke too. So... yeah, good job, Phil. You really proved the point on that one. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. And yet again, one more time, I'm going to leave the link to 2 videos by Paul W. down in the description box below. DarkSyde Phil, failures. Oh, the retro years. I will leave both of those videos down in the description, and whoever is actually going to be squaring up the video, I'll see if they can actually leave it in my end cards too, or at least one of them and whatnot, so you guys can check that out. I think you guys will really enjoy it. I really enjoy them, so hopefully you guys will at least like them. And I very much appreciate it. I'm sure Paul will too in the comment section. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. We had some pretty good breakfast. had some laughs. I think it's a good day. I think it's a good day. I hope you guys' day as well as week goes well for you. And I will see you guys for whenever the next broadcast comes up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG Network and Productions for the Snort Report. I am your host, /anchor, GTG, and I'm signing off. Take care of yourselves, guys. End the broadcast. And like I said, don't forget to check out the description box under things to watch. Okay? I very much appreciate it. I'm sure Paul will too. Later!
The bottom line is this, guys. I'm not a guy that's all about drama. I never have been. I never will be. I don't like it. Every once in a while, if I find the need to become involved in something for various reasons, I will. But for the most part, I stand outside of everything going on with all the people who insult me over the years and everything. Even though I don't even know who the hell they are, I just stay on the outside or whatever. You know, 2 days ago, I felt the need to interject myself quickly into a situation and exit. It's hilarious with all the crap that people have said in general. Most people are supportive of you know, me at this point, which is hilarious because it's funny how public opinion changes so quickly. When for 7 years I was the butt of everyone's internet joke, and now with 2 tweets I basically somehow redeemed myself, figured that one out. I don't know. You figure it out. I really don't know, and I don't care. For me, I just want to be here every day putting out fun gameplay streams for you guys and make a living doing it. And as long as I can keep doing that, I don't care less what happens outside of everything else. That's how I've always been. I've been in my own bubble. But yeah, don't worry about it. You know, as you guys know, here on the streams, things are going to be fine. No, you know, we're not going to be constantly talking about drama. Well, you know, the whole Projared thing has drawn itself out, but just a, you know, fair warning to all these bigger guys who have punched down on me for years. You know, I know how to bide my time, and I'll be keeping an eye on you. We'll see what happens. You know, because it's like I said yesterday on the pre-stream, I fully expect that this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to these guys, that they're basically going to be doing things that they're going to get exposed for, and the whole thing's going to blow up all over the internet. And when it does, when these things blow up all over the internet, you know, it's going to bite them in the butt. And, you know, a lot of these guys, sadly, I hate to say it, have insulted me over the years. So, don't be surprised if every once in a while, when all of a sudden they get exposed for stuff, that a tweet comes out from me, you know. But that's going to really be the extent of it.